Leo, we think we're out of the woods with COVID.
I know.
And what do they hit us with?
Fucking monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
A lot of people were saying they'd rather die than contract monkeypox because of the side effects.
The side
Craters
effects.
in your face, Danny. Craters.
I figured there'd be craters around your anus,
That
around
too.
your penis. It goes all the way up to the face.
To the face, my man.
You better pray you don't contract.
Are you kidding me? First of all, if I get it, it's almost like a way of coming out of the closet, right? It's like, I got monkeypox, boys, and you guys look at me and you go, well, we always knew that you were gay, Leo. And I go, yeah, I am gay. I was having anal sex with a man, because that is the only way to get monkeypox, pretty much, right?
Only way. Only way. Well, or you can be like the adopted child of a gay family, and if one of the adults puts you in a headlock or something, maybe.
Yeah, so there's close contact with monkeypox will get you. How do you get?
No,
monkeypox?
I don't think so.
No, it will. It will. There were minors that were in proximity of an adult who had contracted it. So the idea is, if you're a gay man and you have an adopted son from Cambodia, and you guys are having a pool party, and you play chicken, and he's up on your shoulders,
Really?
you could give him monkeypox.
Oh,
You don't think he was just molesting the kids?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
He might have been. I don't want to accuse anybody of that because I assume, or rather I hope, they interviewed that child and asked them what happened. But I guess it did get reported that the child of a gay person had monkeypox.
well, close contact. That's what you hope. But who knows? Okay. But yeah. Now in regards to Dino, Danny.
Yeah, well, you said, Leo, that a lot of people are wishing for death instead of having monkeypox. I mean, we got a guy we can not talk to about it because he doesn't have a microphone, and we like it that way.
Right.
But just Dino has monkeypox.
Dino, we wanted to make this announcement. Dino has contracted monkeypox. Now, look, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's telling us it wasn't a homosexual act that created this, but more than likely, Danny.
Yeah. So, Dino, you're one of the 0.0000001% of people where maybe you were in a subway and it was transmitted through the air.
Right.
Just not if that's what you're maintaining to me.
I think you were going downtown, I believe, right? There was a really special weed store, and you took the subway, which is not often, not a lot of people. From Calabasas, you could take a subway all the way to downtown. And maybe, look, you got it there. Keep that story going. We're not going to...
I heard, I didn't hear it was a weed shop. I heard it was like a leather shop or... I don't know if he's trying to like restore an old car or he's going to start riding a motorcycle. I don't know why he was going a leather shop, right, Dino?
Look, it's a little strange that you were going to a leather shop just because in the gay community they like the assless chaps. And usually if it's not leather, it's kind of like too hot to wear outside, really. It's just uncomfortable if it isn't leather. So they prefer leather with their assless chaps.
Yeah. And those guys, they're known for something called rough trade, Dino. And you know what rough trade is, King Croc? Is that not big in the black community?
Never heard of it. I don't know.
Rough trade is where two sailors or like a longshoreman and a truck driver go back home and fuck and absolutely beat the living dog shit out of each other.
Damn.
Yeah, it's common.
It's rough trade.
Yeah.
And maybe Dino has picked this up as a hobby.
Look, he's been coming around here with bruised eyes.
Yeah.
Dino would get fucked up.
Oh.
Last week, his arm was in a sling.
Yeah.
And he kept telling us about this fight club.
Oh, yeah.
But,
You know,
come on.
I think what happens is two leather daddies, they like have a joust or some sort of fight to the death. And Dino, when the men are choosing weapons, I think one of them called for a javelin and they actually used Dino.
As the javelin.
And he didn't hit the guy in the chest or the face. He actually hit him in it was a penalty region where Dino went.
Yeah, I can imagine. He is so slender. He is perfect, honestly, to be played with by two homosexuals. Look, Dino, just tell us what the side effects are. Obviously, you
Without
don't
your
have a mic, so we're just going to tell you. We're going to tell you right now. Dino
We're
has.
tell you.
Right now, Dino has.
You can refer to this right here, Leo. Here's this
perfect.
list of symptoms.
Not perfect. All right.
It's actually a blank iPad, but you,
Oh, here they are.
you can use
Okay.
your imagination there.
So it says, first of all,
Leo is like desperately trying to.
I was letting you open it.
There's
Oh, you got
nothing
some.
there.
You got
There's
some. All right.
nothing there.
So one of them here, it says that it does shrink your penis, unfortunately, about 4.5.
Thank
inches.
God.
Damn, Dino, I think you went from one
Four
of
and
the
a half
biggest-
inches, dude.
Yeah, it shrinks it 4.5 inches. So I think you went from one of the biggest penises in the crew to about. You're right where Swolby and Rat Dick are now. Which is
Wow.
okay. I mean, you're still tall.
Some could say
How
that's good
dare you
company.
compare Rat Dick to Swolby's penis? Come on,
Who's
dude.
bigger? Who's actually bigger? Have you seen Rat Dick's
I'm gonna
art?
go ahead with
You-
Swolby's.
I saw a
But
video of Rat Dick covered in pepper spray with his cock out, and Swolby's got a bigger dick than that. Come on,
To be
man.
fair, I can't think of a time when your penis is less big than when you just got maced. Well, unless you're trying to rape a girl and she maces you. Then it's probably hard. Yeah. and that's happened to all of us, right, guys?
Yeah, at some point.
No.
So Dino, we're gonna lay off. I mean, we had to open with the mandatory Dino is gay bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
another person we want to lay into is cameraman Nico. So the Danny Mullen staff, the main channel staff, is rotating through some vacation right now because guys like Ian, guys like Nico, they're on the grind. I mean, Ian has edited like 50 videos in a row every week since December. That's a big exaggeration, but it's been a lot.
A soldier.
I accept that, but Nico,
What? He gets drunk on set with us? It's basically like having a little drunk friend hang out with you all the time. That's his life.
he gets drunk with us.
Yeah.
And then when he's not filming with us, his other part of his job is he edits twice a week. He syncs up the videos, he does some audio balancing work, and he's drinking when he does that.
Of course. He might even be stoned doing that.
You think he's smoking weed?
I think he's developed a weed habit, Danny.
I don't know if you heard about this, but Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals, he just signed a huge contract. I forget exactly how much money it is. Over $100 million guaranteed, though, plus a lot more in incentives and shit. He's got a clause in there that says he has to do 4 hours of mandatory film study per week without Call of Duty playing in the background while he does it.
Really?
The guy's such a degenerate who I guess doesn't even like football, so they have to write this shit into his contract. Nico, I think I'm going to write into his contract.
Wild.
If you're drinking while you're editing, you don't get paid, you fuck.
You send a guy over to test him, breathalyze him, because he's going to make Jill blow into the breathalyzer.
Oh my God.
We got to put a breathalyzer on his computer.
It's every time we do that,
Yeah.
and he's got to like blow into it every 5 minutes. And if we find out that Jill has been blowing,
Yeah.
we send you down to the apartment to fuck her.
To fuck her. Yeah, that happens. He's like, God, dude, he's coming over here again. God, it's the second time this month.
I like it. And she's just like, oh no, oh my God. Leo DiCaprio, pants down. Oh my God, rubbing her clitoris to get herself moist.
Dude, they have a talk about it, and she's like, listen, it's for the betterment of your career, Nico, and I can't deny that for you. I think that Danny Mullen is helping you succeed.
I hope she would do that because it really would be a big boost for the channel. Austin, I don't have audio in one of my earbuds. If you could just unplug me and replug me. And then let's call Nico because another thing, I mean, we're going to talk to him, but our job, I mean, what is it if not just a series of vacations?
That's exactly what it
Let's
is.
see. Thank you, Austin. We're checking earphones. I still do not have my left ear. No audio in my left ear. It's actually, I mentioned somebody lit off an M80 on my street right next to my ear, and I went partially deaf for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, today, that's a little better, Austin. The static's coming. Testing. Well, I can't tell because I was driving with my window down, and a lady blared her horn about 3 centimeters from the side of my head.
Yeah.
So,
Took you out.
yeah. So what I'm saying is there could be audio coming through right now.
Do you
but I'm just
regret
not aware.
living where you chose to live at this point? Be
Because
honest.
it's ghetto.
Yes.
For people who don't know exactly, my unit is nice. We toured it in one of the main channel videos. The surrounding area, though, pretty shady.
Well, this is what Danny is one of the. He's basically like a frontline World War I trench
Yeah.
warfare guy. You are the first people to go into a neighborhood
Yeah.
to gentrify it.
Yes,
They've
yes.
remodeled the space. It looks
Yes.
beautiful. It's a nice unit.
Yes.
But then they mark the prices up.
Yes.
And then I'm going to be so racist, but there are some people that are like, fuck, we can't afford this shit no more, man. We got to get out of here.
Listen,
Yeah.
Leo,
That's how it goes.
the phrase
So they leave.
what you're referring to, Leo, in World War One, I think in the Civil War, the phrase was actually coined. They called the guys who had to be the head of the battering ram to break down the enemy defenses, to soften them up. They called those guys in the Civil War the forlorn hope.
Dude, that's you.
Have you seen the movie Glory?
Yes, of course. Denzel?
Yes.
Great movie.
This isn't really going to work for this
You better
example.
watch that.
Because in Glory, it's black soldiers that are gentrifying the fort. But so
Right.
we're going to have to change up that analogy here. But I am the forlorn hope of gentrification in mid-city.
100%.
They gave me a fucking parachute and they're like, all right, Whitey, go see what you can do. Just try to have a lot of babies and buy a Porsche.
And invite your friends.
Yes, invite a lot of friends over.
Yeah.
And have EDM parties in the backyard communal area.
Yep.
EDM parties are good. Guys with polos.
Be quick on the phone to call the cops.
Absolutely.
Anything going down, call the cops, call the cops, call the cops.
Preferably get a Labradoodle.
Yes.
Walk it.
Yes.
With a little shit bag. That.
Get a gardener. Maybe donate to the community, beautify it. Get all the graffiti painted over.
And then occasionally go out and just accuse my gardener of stealing.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You have to, and accuse your maid of stealing. And,
Arturo, there was a gram of Coke on my coffee table last night. Where the fuck is it?
This might seem like a racist idea right off the top, at first glance, but call ICE on a couple people in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? If they're illegals, fair. You have to be fair. And they shouldn't be in the neighborhood.
I feel like that's a little too far. I'm not gonna lie. I
Calling-
gotta stand up for my Latinos and my Hyenas.
They're Latinx, dude. They're Latinx.
You know what I'm saying?
come on.
So, you know what I'm saying? But if you piss me off or you've been talking shit, bro, I might go corporate on you, boy.
You might go
I
corporate
might
on
hit
you.
up ICE under a company name. I ain't do it. You know what I'm saying?
there we go.
You out of here, bitch.
There we go.
I
So-
might go corporate on you. I ain't do it.
Bitch.
I'm just being honest.
King, I like it. Also, I want to say that the Latinos in the neighborhood are actually great. Again, one of them who lives right across the street. We talked about him on the Patreon podcast last week. Big fan of the channel. His name's George Lopez. That's awesome. Lives direct. His mom told me about this. She's like, my son, he see you come down the stairs. He said, it's Danny from YouTube. He loves you.
Yes.
So shout out to fucking George.
Love it.
But there is a government housing building right next to ours. And dude, it is bad. You know how I told you the story about that lady who was blatantly racist to me and Adam Fu?
Yeah,
who you
that-
spoke to.
Yeah.
I came down and I found King Croc talking to her.
Like just nice, nonchalant.
Yeah, she was like giving me advice about where to park and shit. And
She's
I didn't listen
nice
to
to him.
We know her type at this point.
She's a black woman and she has her car. King, I think my neighborhood now might even be more ghetto than where you currently reside.
Absolutely, it is.
So
My
thank you.
neighborhood is way wealthier than yours.
Damn,
Randy.
I
I'm
feel
not gonna
fucking
lie.
incredible, dude.
I know.
I got
feel-
nice cars in my shit. I got like,
Dude,
you know,
do I-
millionaires.
That means I should get the N-word
You have a
pass,
lot
I
of.
think.
You should get the N-word pass, and you should. You have a big responsibility. Don't you think he has a big responsibility to really gentrify this block?
Well, I want to just mention this lady real quick. I agree.
Yes.
I'm the forlorn hope, Leo,
Yes.
but so it's not just her. A lot of people in poor neighborhoods are just fucking hoarders. Their lawns are knee deep in shit, trinkets, old lamps, just garage sale miscellanea.
What do you think that is? Is it? You think it's the abuse that they maybe got when they were children that ends up with a disorder?
Yeah.
Some kind of disorder where you have to hoard stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I just read an article in the LA Times about it, about a bum who's going from housing voucher apartment to housing voucher apartment, which is great, except he's got to bring a U-Haul's worth of shit everywhere. Just random documents from the 80s. And it's a good question, Leo. Where does that come from? And does the psychological disorder lead to homelessness and poverty, or does homelessness and poverty lead to the psychological disorder? Either way, chicken or egg, my neighborhood is fucking loaded with hoarders, one of whom's the very racist black woman who came up to me and Adam Fu and said, "Where are y'all going?" And we were like, "Oh, we're taking him to the airport." She's like, "Where are y'all going? Virginia? You boys are always flying places." And I just never spoken to her before in my life. Sounds like her tone was a lot different than how she spoke to King Croc.
Yeah, dude.
Virginia's a good choice for just a racist state.
You got to go further. You got to go down to Mississippi.
Yeah,
Her joke would have been better if she said Mississippi.
she didn't want to be too obvious. She's a real
She's subtle.
comedy. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Role.
Yeah, she won.
She's a fucking racist, man. I hate racists.
She is, and there are 2 children in that apartment because the door is always open and it's backed up against my gentrified units, and there are 2 babies in there that cry all the livelong day while she
Damn.
tells them to shut up.
That's
She's like,
terrible.
Shut the fuck up.
How old is she?
Shut up, man.
She is. She looks like a grandma. She didn't have the kids, but those 2 children. I'm not sure if they're girls or boys. If it's a girl, she's going to be a stripper or a hooker. If it's a boy, he's going to be holding me up outside an ATM.
Well, Danny, I think maybe you should do your part and go over there and lend a helping hand. I think you have enough time.
You think I should be
You should get
a
in
more
there.
hire nanny,
Yes.
free nanny?
Yes.
Okay.
Put him in the video.
No, listen. You know how you change a young black boy's life?
How do you do it?
Go up to him. Tyrone. Darquevius.
Yeah.
Come out. Let's go do some karate. I'll pay for that shit.
Damn.
Let's go do some baseball.
Yeah.
Guess what? You go one time, I'll pay for the whole summer, little
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
But if you ever pussy out,
Yeah.
I might slap you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
No, but you just be free. You know, I'm joking, obviously joking.
The kids
I'm
are also
just saying-
they are infants, King Croc, so they're
Oh,
not ready for
they're like-
baseball.
oh,
they
okay,
are
all right.
infants.
Okay.
But I think it would be really cool because a lot of people, I mean, mostly just pussy politicians bullshit about how they're going to help impoverished communities.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be cool if I had Danny Duncan money. I hung out with Danny Duncan this weekend, by the way.
Awesome.
nice.
If I think it would be cool if I had Danny Duncan money to open an institute in South Central where we taught kids Brazilian jiu-jitsu and real life business and money skills.
Oh man, that'd be a great foundation.
And you and Leo would head the task force on teaching him how to get pussy.
That's fantastic.
That's a
They
good skill
need
too.
that, man.
Yo, they really do need.
Show
Apparently-
Marlon Brando films.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Apparently, there's this shit that like kids in high school and like kids Derek's age, like a little younger than me, they're doing internet sex on Discord, and
Internet
it's like
sex on
normal.
Discord. What does that mean exactly?
I don't know. I heard it and was so confused. There was like a video about it. King Croc knew what I was talking about. Apparently,
you
they
had
have
it?
these Discord communities where
No, I've never done it.
they have like no social skills, so they just do like internet e-sex is what he called it.
It sounds like it's just a more advanced form of sexting. I mean, we used to have AOL Instant Messenger when I was in high school, and you could be like, "What are you wearing?" LOL.
Right.
And the girl would be like, "Panties, raffle," and you'd be like, "I'm touching myself," ha ha ha, ha, laughing my ass off.
Yeah,
I think that's where the original I had a dream about you was created.
You
was
did it on
AOL.
AIM.
nice.
Way back in the day. I had that idea. I was like, guys, what if we just tell them we had dreams about them?
You know, I never thought about it from that angle, but that's true. It is kind of like a modern version of that.
Yeah,
And a part of it is really creepy, bro. It's a whole different dynamic.
because it's video and because they're in darkened bedrooms and because they never get outside.
No, because it's interactive. Right?
What do you mean exactly?
So, in terms of the people they're dealing with, right? Streamers, VTubers, people who you can simp for, you pay donations, they talk to you back and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can provide a sexual experience for someone who
That's great.
So is it a chick who's doing the
Yeah, it
sexual
could be-
experience for
well,
the guys?
I'd probably say over 70% are dudes pretending to be chicks. That's probably 30% actual chicks.
Wait, if they're pretending to be chicks, I don't understand. Is it an avatar that's rubbing her titties? It's
It
like
could
some
be that.
elf creature?
There's different versions. Like VTube is a type of Austin, help me out here. You know what VTubing is, right? Can you explain
Yes,
it?
he does. He definitely
it's
knows.
sort of
He's gonna play dumb here. Like VTube, is that like velocity squared? Is that like a mathematics equation? Tell us about how a fucking centaur fucked you up the ass last night, you little creep.
So you can pay like a Filipino guy on Upwork or
Oh my
whatever,
God. Okay.
like $200, and they'll make you like a custom 3D model, and using like the same kind of software that's in Snapchat and Instagram, like face filters and stuff. It'll like talk along with you or whatever. So, that's what he's talking about.
And we're talking about where do you upload her onto some program?
There are like Twitch streamers who just stream as like anime characters and shit that are like really sexualized, and I guess these guys like pay these chicks to have like internet sex with them.
What's internet sex though? Sexting?
I don't know. It was like
Okay.
this Fortnite streamer or something was
I like how you both looked at me.
Krog knew
You
more
knew
about
what
it than
it
I
was.
did.
No, we're
I
look-
was just watching a video about it before.
We're looking
before
because
y'all
we hear an
walked in.
ice cream truck in our headphones.
No,
Yeah.
it's my
King
math
Krog's
alarm.
math alarm.
Get your stupid
Math
math
alarm.
alarm off, dude.
Explain the math alarm once into the microphone. We're coming back to these.
And we
He's
got to
gotta
call
go get-
Nico, too.
Yes, we do have to call. We forgot about the vacation. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
yeah,
Leo.
yeah,
How we
yeah,
get
yeah.
off topic.
We always
Austin,
do.
I can't believe it, dude. If you go on xvideos.com, there is more high quality pornography than a million men could masturbate to in a lifetime. So why have we gone over to like an orc woman piloted by a Filipino boy putting a baton up her pussy? Like, why is that necessary
And it's
now?
probably with a man or a woman that's probably never had an in-person sexual interaction, right? Is it more than likely a virgin that's paying for these services?
I mean,
Yeah, I
they're
think it's
losers.
just guys with like no social skills.
Well,
and
Okay.
Internet
I don't know. I
generation.
don't even really understand what it is. I just
Wow.
heard about it and thought it was hilarious.
King, if I make an avatar, or I have my, better yet, my Filipino thumbnail maker, make an avatar of like a big booty black elf hoe, will you write the dialogue for the program?
Oh yeah, we can make bucks.
We
bro.
can.
Okay, what does she say when she sees a skinny white man that looks maybe like Danny?
What would the person behind the screen say? The controller of this woman.
The,
Whatever you say
No,
to
no,
charm
no.
him up.
She is an elf hoe.
Yeah.
How does she speak to Danny?
Hi, Letitia the Brave. I am a mere mortal writing from Savannah, Georgia, and I just want to say that you're really looking pretty today. And then you got to hit him with some ghetto shit, King.
I'm gonna hit him with the line. I'm just typing. So this is my typing voice.
Right.
'Cause I'm not gonna pretend to be fucking.
You can't be Letitia?
I can't be Letitia.
You can't go high for us?
You can go a little high for us. Come on.
I can't do this. I can't.
All right, just do it like a big black dude then.
Hey, nigga, you looking good.
I like that. I like that.
And yeah, I'm honestly. How old are you?
I'm 17.
Yeah, younger men really do it for me. If we could build a connection, send me my first donation. 2,000.
shit.
Hit me tomorrow.
2 G's?
Whatever.
Wow,
Any
dude.
amount. Like you do this, you pay a certain amount, we have an interaction. Hey,
Yeah.
role play, or you're asking me.
Yeah. And what am I asking you right now?
It's a role play something.
Oh yeah, I am going to make my way through the woods of Rivendell, and I am going to lick your pussy while you stomp out my head with your hooves.
Damn.
It's all right, King Croc.
That may
Yeah, I know. You're a proud black man, and I'm talking
get it.
about
It's
licking
tough.
your pussy. And let's call Nico. Let's talk to him
Let's
about
call
his
this little
vacation.
bastard.
Let's talk to him about the vacation he had on top of 6 months of vacation.
Because, and this has all been on his story in the last week if you follow Nico.
Nico, it's Danny Mullen.
Oh, hello, sir. How are
Listen, dude. Listen, here's what's going to happen. You got to give me back all the money I paid you for the 2 weeks you were on vacation. Because Leo and I have been talking. You don't deserve vacation.
Buddy, what did you do to deserve any kind of break, Nico?
you? What do I put up with both of you?
Oh, yeah?
Both of these
what I do.
nuts.
And you know, and
Listen,
you know
buddy.
why I deserve it is because you're always worried about that expose I'm going to make with Oprah one day.
Mm-hmm.
And
You make
isn't
that
hurt
expose,
my-
but the truth is that every 15 to 20 minutes, you make a stop for some IPA somewhere.
Yes.
And we give you the benefit of the doubt. We're like, he's pretty good hungover, and he's pretty good when he's drunk holding the
Yep.
camera. He's even maybe better. So we go ahead, Nico, drink up.
So you're drinking. That's one reason why we feel like you've been on essentially a 6-month vacation since January. I'm going to say this now, Nico. So you're drunk almost every shoot. The first shoot of the year, where were we? We were on a cruise ship in a harbor in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yes.
I mean, it was
was-
a decommissioned aircraft carrier, but I see it as a cruise ship.
The views from the ship,
Oh,
second to none.
Leo, great. And
Kidding me?
the
To
staff,
die for. To die for.
the patrons,
oh, yeah.
Bowen, what a lovely man Bowen was.
Bowen was an incredible human. Nico, in fact, you got an interactive experience. You got to be on stage.
Yeah.
You got to sing in front of a crowd.
Yeah, he performed.
You performed.
We made his dreams come true that trip.
Nico, you think you deserve a break from it's almost like a Make-A-Wish Foundation type event that we take you on almost every time that we take you on a shoot.
Yes. What do you say to that, Nico?
I can't argue with that. The places and getting to see you guys work is second to none.
Hell yeah.
Nico,
Word.
we took you to Mexico in April.
Buddy, we took you to an exotic country.
We took you to
That
Mexico.
one was kind of traumatizing. I wouldn't use
No.
that one as an example. That was
what are you
kind of
talking
back
about?
my side up.
We were kicking back
What?
in beautiful, what was it, 81 degree, 78 degree weather with hot chicks,
Yep.
hot foreign chicks,
And
Ukrainians.
nice Mexican men at our call. We
Yeah.
could just throw them a 20 and you'd have whatever you needed.
We basically
Nico.
had servants.
Yeah,
we
we
had
had servants.
servants in Mexico, and you're telling me that you need a vacation?
What did you not like about the trip to TJ? I don't understand.
The video-
I mean, go watch the video if it's still up. We almost ended up in vats of acid, and you guys would have sold me off to then you guys take the footage and leave. You guys even said
More
that.
like vats of pina colada, baby. We were about to hit the beach, and then I just got a little tired.
If we got shaken down a little bit, but you kind of were like molested a little bit, it would have made it so the trip would have been 10 times better.
If one of the dudes, if one of the dudes just wanted to tickle his little wee wee a bit.
Oh yeah.
Nico, we're not even done talking here. I mean, we went to Texas multiple times this year. We took you to a big sporting event, and we were courtside.
Yeah. It's in-
That is true.
It's in all the headlines right now, the WNBA.
The WNBA. We went to
Oh,
a
yeah,
great
didn't-
game,
didn't you
Nico.
get fired?
Didn't who get what?
Well, a girl
Didn't
quit.
your girl get
Liz, the girl
fired?
I said, the girl that I lied about having sex with.
Yes, in the WNBA video. What
Right,
what
Liz.
happened to her?
Well, she quit. She quit the team.
Did she quit the league?
I don't know if she quit the league. I think she wants to sign somewhere else. She has parted with the Sparks.
Don't they have contracts?
They do. They do, but they divorced. They had a contract divorce.
Can you pull that story up, Austin, for us real quick? Nico, I disagree with your whole vacation, and I am going to get you on a payment program so you can pay me back every dollar you got paid during your paid vacation. But tell me what you did. What happened?
I went to Utah with my family, Park City. We went adventuring around the old back country.
Nice.
Old
For a
bat
week.
or old back?
Back, B-A-C-K. We went UTVing over these nice rolling hills that would be.
What's
like in the Sound of
UTVing?
Music. It's
a four-wheel.
an extreme golf cart.
Huh.
What does the U stand for?
Utility, or I don't know. They just said UTV, and I was like, oh, it's a fucking UTV. I don't know.
It's a shame that you didn't roll that thing, you
Yeah,
fucking...
Nico. That would have been... Nico needs a brush with reality, Leo.
Seriously.
I would have. He said it's like Sound of Music, like the big hills and that fucking. I would love it if Nico just gunned it. Like maybe after 3 or 4 Voodoo Ranger IPAs, his favorite beer. I would love it if he just watched Jackass 1 where they're
Yeah.
screwing around in the golf course
Oh,
with all those
yeah.
cars. Maybe he fucking guns it off a berm and just realizes it's a 1,000-foot precipice and just him.
He survives, but he can't walk for like 4 or 5 months, and we still talk. We still make him film.
Yeah, we get it. We get him a UTV fucking wheelchair to film
Yeah,
from, you little
exactly,
bitch.
exactly.
Fucking
Oh my
live by the
God.
UTV, die by the UTV.
Yeah, Nico, you've had such a safe life. You've been dating Jill since you were 15. You hit up Danny Mullen, your hero, and you said, "I want a job. Give me a job, man." And he gave you a job. And he gave you the fucking job. Then now you have one of the greatest gigs on earth. It's time for you to give back. You got to give back to us a little bit.
I feel like whenever I get neeked out, that's giving back to you guys.
Nico, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna pay me back every penny I paid you over this vacation, and you're gonna give Leo 50% of what you give me.
Yes.
So he's entitled to some money too. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And you know what, King Croc, you're gonna pay off King Croc's car for this month, and you're gonna buy Austin and Dino a dime bag. To split,
dime?
not two.
A dime bag.
Yeah, just get him a little weed.
Get a
Also,
little
if you have a
weed.
monkeypox vaccine, Dino could really use
Yeah,
it.
Dino got monkeypox, Nico.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Are
Yeah.
you guys? He doesn't get any pussy. How do you get it?
No, well,
Right.
funny.
That's funny.
You don't
because
need to get pussy.
The truth is, Nico, that getting pussy would not lead to monkeypox.
Yeah, getting
Dude,
pussy.
it's
Some call it the
STD, I
anti-monkeypox.
thought.
It's an STD,
Oh, it is.
Nico, but maybe you need to look up the statistics of who might get monkeypox.
Yeah, Nico, actually do that for us right now. Close out the call window and Google who is at risk of monkeypox.
Yeah, say
Yeah, do it right
percentage.
now. Who is
Yeah,
at
yeah.
risk of monkeypox?
And if you could
can
scroll
figure
down
this
for
out.
me a little bit, Austin.
It's like it went all around like France because people were just
Oh, yeah.
fucking.
It
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
went all around San Francisco and West Hollywood too.
Yeah, you might want to look up monkeypox in San Francisco.
Okay, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. It says it has been the highest among gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men. So there you go. Dino's gay.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dino.
confirmed.
Check on those categories for Dino.
It's
huh?
such a tough way to come out of the closet, though, Danny, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, listen, guys, I'm going to be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I got monkeypox.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have face
Huh.
craters.
You
Yeah,
know,
I'm going to have face craters. And 99% chance that I contracted it with a homosexual male. That's
Yeah.
the only way to really. The 1%.
it's tough. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I guess Harry Styles like helped some dude or some chick come out of the closet at one of his live shows.
Wow.
I don't know how. It seems like it was probably a pre-planned PR stunt that like his team set up. But I guess some little boy had a sign in the front row like, "I'm gay and I need help coming out to my mom." So Harry Styles was like, "All right, before we do this next number, we've got a little fellow up in the front row." I don't know anything about Harry Styles. I think he's English, right?
Dude,
is he even English?
Dude, he is
he
English.
even
He's 100, yeah, he was in the English boy band.
One Direction?
One Direction.
I'm not even sure they're English. I don't know.
No, they're English. They're
Okay.
English, yeah. It
This
was-
little boy right here, if his mother's up somewhere in the rafters, he's gay. He's gay. And everybody just cheered and whatnot. That's best case coming out of the closet. Worst case coming out of the closet is Dino's dad at like 6 a.m. is poking around the backyard and Dino is just like coughing up a lung
Yeah.
next to an oak tree. Face covered in sores.
He's going to start lying. He'll lie about the face to us for a while. Like, yeah, I got acne. I think I need Accutane or something. Yeah, these craters. It's cystic acne. It's really bad.
His mom comes home with a bag full of like OxyClean and like Neutrogena and like all the shit to get his face. And meanwhile, monkeypox is just the equivalent of like, you know, this new 6th Street Viaduct? They built this new bridge in LA.
Oh yeah, that nobody can use because all the yeah.
Because sideshows and graffiti
Yep.
and gang fights. What is happening on the 6th Street Viaduct, monkeypox is doing inside Dino's body.
yeah, right now.
Just a bunch of like ghetto ass monkeypox cells. Like, hey, oh, I'm gonna stab you. Just like fucking stabbing his small intestine.
Monkeypox
sad,
is from
really.
Mexico?
No, I just made him Mexican because that's who's at the viaduct.
Monkeypox is just leprosy. It's all a conspiracy. It's a cover up.
It's back.
The leopards are back. That's
Oh,
what it is, dude.
Dino, you had sex with a leopard, didn't you? You went down to the zoo.
Leper.
I'm impressed, actually.
Well, good thing God will help him. Well, he has God on his side.
Pray the gay away.
Yeah,
Get
Dino.
away.
Nico, I'm glad you're still there. So, Nico, we got you on a repayment program. What about you and your think of this? We talked about it off the air, and if you hear it, we want you to hear it from us, Leo, because
Yeah.
we mentioned some strategies that might make his work ethic a little better.
Yeah, dude. It's nothing big, really. It's just that we're going to get you a breathalyzer to use on your computer, okay? And, of course, with anything, we have to kind of attach some, punishments if you fail the test.
Yeah.
With this being if you fail and you have alcohol in your system at maybe noon or something when you're supposed to be editing a video.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you do fail one of those breathalyzer tests...
Can I tell him, Leo?
yeah, go ahead, Danny.
I've developed some things for it.
Sure.
So Jill is going to have to go to the Four Seasons in Laguna Beach,
Right.
and she's going to have to spend 24 hours in a hotel room with Leo.
Yeah. And there will be champagne, okay?
Yep.
And because it's sort of like an escape for her, So it's going to be there's going to be maybe some chocolate covered strawberries.
Maybe some jizz-colored hair.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say jizz-colored eyeballs, but then I thought hair sounded better. And I only half said hair. It didn't really work out.
So listen, I'll be fucking your girlfriend, Nico, if you fail the breathalyzer test.
I thought we were friends.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Well, if friends help friends work harder.
You know,
yeah,
I've
and I
talked
think
to Croc before, and me and Croc would never leave you alone. We would let you stay at our house ever. If you were down on your luck, you would never be allowed over.
really, fuck you,
Yes.
Nico. Listen, but
It's
listen,
always
me
those
and Danny.
handsome poor guys that steal your woman.
It's true, actually.
And
It's
I
the
know you're not poor
Italians.
right
dude.
now, but I'm saying if you were ever down on your luck, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not bringing you in.
Didn't Rudolph Valentino do that?
He cheated a lot, yeah.
Rudolph Valentino was like the original Italian heartthrob actor back in the 20s or
The
30s.
silent movies.
wow.
And I'm pretty sure he was a busboy in a cafe in New York, and he just started fucking heiresses. Just married heiresses and businesswomen who were filthy rich.
Honestly, it's a shame that I haven't used my penis as a pedestal more often. I could have. Who
Oh,
knows?
yeah.
Who-
Mr. Sugar Mama, I've fucked 500 girls and gotten blown by 6,000.
I know.
Yeah,
but
you haven't
Danny,
been using it enough, Leo.
But Danny, I could be somewhere hanging out by that infinity pool, like
Leo,
you said.
I think about 20% of all registered female users on Instagram have gotten a dick pic from you.
I would say, yeah, that's a good percentage. 1 out of 4 girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 out of 5. Did I say 20?
1 out of 4,
For
for sure.
Austin, can we please pull up
1 out of
Rudolph
5, sorry.
Valentino? I got to see this guy. I just want to see him because this really is the original.
The original
Leo.
heartthrob, original really good-looking guy.
You should know how to spell Rudolph because that's German.
I mean, I just
So let's see the images.
growing up with the internet,
Yeah,
I
he was handsome.
do not remember how to spell, dude.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's almost so crazy, Leo.
He was jacked too.
This
back in the
guy,
day.
we're looking at Rudolph Valentino. If you're watching the show, I'm looking at this guy. This guy is you 100 years ago. Isn't that trippy?
Yeah, it is. He was out there just waiting to find the next nut that he could bust inside or on a woman. All the his thoughts were okay. When I nut, where's the next nut coming from? And see, that's the problem.
Well,
You
it's
can
coming
never
from
have enough
him.
nuts.
Where's
What-
the nut going?
It's efficient.
Well, what I'm saying, Nico, is like you don't have an active sex life. You don't have sex with Jill very often, so you just don't understand.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm sorry for airing out your sexual history with Jill right now. It was wrong of me to do that. I'm sorry.
I think Nico.
lie.
I think he fucks Jill like a fucking woodpecker flapping around the room. I think Nico is actually all over Jill.
Damn it, dude.
I think I talked to him on shoots. Like Nico and I have heart to hearts about each other's sex life.
Yeah.
I think he actually gives it to Jill pretty good.
Pretty good.
Or if you think if he gives it to her good in the sense that a woodpecker gives it to an elm tree good.
Right. It's ferocious. It's very fast paced, and it's
it
over
wakes
quickly.
the neighbors up sometimes.
Exactly. Look, whatever you're doing in the bedroom with Jill, Nico, it's probably unacceptable, and it needs to improve.
Nico, you know woodpeckers, they can use their tongue. Their tongue is long enough that it goes back into their brain and holds their brain in place so they don't get a concussion while they're slamming in.
Wow.
And Nico, have you ever sustained any sort of injury while making love to your girlfriend?
I think I've like pulled a hip flexor before.
On her?
No, me, like my hip flexor. Like I'm out of shape.
Wow. Oh, okay. I thought it was something cool. I thought maybe you had some tarps laid down. There was some lubrication. That's good. The most recent injury that Dino sustained is the fucking monkeypox, unfortunately. From having
Yeah.
sex. That's rough. That's rough. All right, Nico. Well, we're gonna get back to work soon, buddy. Filming. So I hope you're ready.
Hey, dude, I can't wait.
I might be in touch with you this week, and we'll see. Maybe instead of paying me back, you can just work for free the next couple of shoots. It's actually going to be pretty good. We're going to Juarez, then Mogadishu.
Nice.
Then we're going to Kiev.
Wow.
Mogadishu.
Yeah, we're going to Mogadishu. And then I think after that, we're going to like the middle of the Australian outback with no water for a long time.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that
so
one
it'll,
sounds
you're,
better
Those
than
are
the rest.
opportunities for your growth,
Yeah.
Nico.
all free of pay. You can look at these as internships to compensate for your unneeded vacation.
Internships. All right.
Yes. All right, Nico. Well, you sound like you got a lot of pep in your voice. I hope you rested up.
Have fun.
I hope your liver isn't deteriorated any more than usual. And we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, and if your little wee-wee's out of your pants right now in that parking lot, you put it back in your pants. You sick little bastard.
It's in my pants.
I forget if we've talked about this on the podcast, but Leo and I have been trying to find a dollar figure that we have to pay Nico to get him to get blacked out drunk, get totally naked, and to charge a uniformed police officer with his little wee out. Just Nico going, charging an LAPD officer in broad daylight.
It's if you think about it, it's pretty safe. He's not going to have any weapon on him. Obviously, he's not going to be able to hide it anywhere because he'd be naked. His penis is going to be his weapon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get him to do it at some point.
Nico, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it. All right, buddy. And then your high school reunion's next year, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll talk about that.
Stay on
too.
it, guys. Fans should stay on Nico about making that happen. He doesn't really want to do it. He doesn't want to ruin his high school reunion, but we got to get him to do it, guys.
Oh yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it, baby. We're doing it. Neeks, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my fellow, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Peace out. Peace.
Later.
Peace.
Do we have our guest
I'm gonna piss too. Yeah. My man Mark Harley. I think there were fans clamoring for us to talk to each other, mainly because we look like Vikings that will absolutely have sex with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he's what I want to be physically. He's so jacked and shredded. We're going to talk to him about that.
Jack, bro.
Yeah, but Mark is fun. He's a comedian. He's an actor, too. We were both in Black Jesus. I looked that up on your IMDb.
No way.
Yeah,
Wait.
dude.
Oh, my God. I think... Okay, you're resurfacing a lot of hidden memories.
Repressed memories.
Like,
did you
I feel
say?
like I'm like, oh, is that where I've known you
Is
from?
there a
No.
director you want to meet to right now? Who directed
If there's
Black
anything
Jesus?
you want to say about a director,
Actually, the only thing I wanted to say about that experience is I did multiple episodes for it, and my part was reduced. This is like what the tragic cutting room floor thing.
always, yeah.
The guy who died, John. I freaking I'm blanking on his name. It's really rude.
Same.
Was it
It's
Jesus?
Witherspoon.
Johnny Witherspoon,
Yeah.
right?
You know John. You should, King Croc.
Yeah.
He was in Friday. Oh, yeah.
So I had a bunch of scenes with him with like some great back and forth.
Damn.
Right. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm working with Johnny Witherspoon, and like he died before the things because the season was like really delayed. And then it came out and they were all cut, but it makes sense because they were like, it just didn't work with the story. It was like, because he's the comedic relief, then I was like a silly character on top of that. So they were like, it was silly on silly. I played this homeless guy that was like his rival, like a fake
That show's
sophisticated
hilarious,
drunk named Rudolfo, who was like vying for his spot on the corner. And there was like a flashback to me playing the saxophone on the street back in the 80s.
I like that.
It was
sounds like a
ridiculous.
funny
Dude,
premise.
The show was
I know.
fucking hilarious. It was literally about a black Jesus coming down and helping and doing miracles in Compton. It was pretty fun.
It sounds funny. I like the bit about competing for supremacy on a corner because we actually have Leo knows this very well. We have a panhandler out on Venice Boulevard who is there every single day, clearly making zero effort. He's making this much effort to go out and gain real employment. So Leo, fed up one day, rolls down the window of his Challenger and yells, what, Leo?
I go, hey, get a job, kid. I mean, the guy's young, you know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Yeah, do you ever feel like just doing that? Also, I want to say
Yes.
Mark is on The Fighter and the Kid. If any of you guys listen to that podcast, you know him from The Fighter and the Kid as well. So
Yeah. I never ask anywhere where people know me from. I guess that might be interesting. But here's what I get a lot these days. You're on TikTok.
really,
Like,
that's sad,
think about
dude.
that statement. It is.
How do you feel about that, Mark?
Today I was kind of pissed off because I was in the sauna right before I came here, and I was trying to like time out my work so I get some Stairmaster in and hit the sauna and then get ready, and I'm planning out like the shower to the thing to get and sometimes when there's a packed sauna, there's like 9 people in there, and I don't want to talk to anybody.
Sounds like Dino's dream.
Yeah, it does. That's how he got monkeypox.
Yeah, so one man's
wanna
dreams
know.
into the man's nightmare. But my headphones had just died, and I wasn't looking to have any conversation. It was just like, I want to be in here for 5 minutes and maybe like do a task on my phone that I was supposed to knock out anyway. So
Suck
and
an
then-
anonymous dick and get out.
Right. It's like, dude, can a guy just suck an anonymous dick and post to the TFATK fucking social media page?
Yeah,
and get out of here. You know? And this kid was like, now, look, I'm going to expose myself as being a little bit dickish. I have dickish instincts, but I try to keep them under control. because people do frustrate me, and I'm aware that these are irrational frustrations, and I try to keep them in check, but sometimes they peek through. And in this particular case, it was a guy going, "You're on TikTok, huh?" And that statement in and of itself, because I go, look, anybody can be on TikTok. Are you saying that you recognize me from a viral sketch or something? And then it becomes this game. First of all, the general thing is, it becomes a game of, I have to justify my level of celebrity to you. It's like, where do I know you from? I'm like, I don't know where you know me from. Should I start listing all the things I've ever done in my life? So that, you know, that's one thing. But then he's like, you were in a skit with this guy with brown hair, and he's it was just on his Snapchat story. Like all these things where I'm like, none of the things that you are saying right now help me understand. I want to know the thing that you saw me in, but you're not giving me any qualifiers. I'm like, you're so funny. Yeah, like you were in that, and I'm like, and I know they're not going to be able to answer. So I go, tell me one thing about the sketch.
Yeah.
And they can't.
We can relate to this big time.
Right.
Like, I mean, I definitely do not have a large enough level of fame where I can complain at all.
No, that's the thing. I feel like a dick. So I go, imagine that's 1,000,000 times 1,000,000.
Oh, yeah. It'd be awful. But there's definitely two types of recognition. There is, hey, Danny, what's up, man? It's so great to see you. Leo, Nico, he's our cameraman. Love you guys. Can I get a picture? That's the best ever. But then there's also when you're just trying to buy a can of water at 7-Eleven and a guy just goes, oh shit, oh, and I'm like, hi, how's it going? Oh fuck, oh my god, my dude, oh my, yeah, what's up, man, how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Oh shit, can I get a picture? I'm not sure I want to give you a photo because the only thing you said to me so far is, oh shit, which, I mean, that maybe hints you're appreciative of something I've done. But it doesn't seem like it's had much of an impact on your life.
Right. Yeah. So that's always an interesting thing because I go like, you can't tell me like, you're the funniest or I'm a big fan but then they're lacking this basic information. Like this will happen to Brendan a lot where people are like, I'm your biggest fan. Like, when's your next fight? And he's like, you know,
when's your next football game? Really going back to Brendan.
I get the I did some reality TV, and that's kind of almost it's almost worse than being known for something because they think that was you, and they'll always apologize for me and be like, I'm sorry that you didn't find love, and I kind of have to just play the character. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's a shame. What are you doing later?
Leo,
you know,
the truth is that Leo found his love from that show. It wasn't in the form of the contestant. It was in the inboxes of about 1,000 22-year-old girls.
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
It was nice. It was nice.
That's a nice filtration process.
Yes, it was.
That's where the real love is found. So, Mark, first of all, you're wearing the first pair of skate shoes I ever bought. I think it was in 1999. Were the S swords, and it's stylized as like a lowercase e with the French accent.
Yeah,
they were my favorite skate shoes. Too, you're rocking them, which makes me so happy because that company was out of business for a while, and then it came back somehow.
Yeah, I'm really excited about these, and these are basically, so it's cool that you know that because there's a world of sneakerheads it's like 99% Nike, Jordans, whatever, and I don't know anything about that. All I know is that when I was in middle school and high school, S shoes, or I call them ES, and people are like, it's S. I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm trying to break this habit.
It's really on them. It's really the brand's fault for picking something that 50% of people say different ways.
Correct. And so I'm not, I don't care whatever I'm wrong, but I always would color coordinate my outfits with, I'd have like the blue, they have these great styles. They have the great color patterns. So I would I remember in high school, not that I had a bunch of clothes, but I would make them all count because I would spend my Christmas money on S shoes and build outfits around that. And then when they came back, I was super excited. And then I shouted them out. We were in a sneaker store in Suplex in Philadelphia. And I mentioned something about like the only sneakers I ever get are S. And the brand got in touch with me and they're like, oh, we're like, let us know what you like. We're going to send you stuff. I've not gotten back to them because I feel self-conscious about going, send me everything.
Yeah.
Like all of the shoes.
Everything from inception to the end.
Send me every pair
after
of
the
shoes
hiatus.
13.
Austin, can you pull up the K3s, Costin 3s? These were a lot of skaters. I just picked up a Thrasher magazine in Barnes & Noble a week ago, and I saw Torrey Pudwell listed the Costin 3 as one of his top favorite skate shoes of all time. And it was always my favorite skate shoe of all time. See, these are the Nikes. No, it's go up.
If you Google, maybe just do ES.
Yeah, click lowercase E and then S. Bam. Here we go.
Yeah,
dude. The red ones, the Chicago Bulls ones. I had those in 5th grade. You know how many girls' hands I held, Mark, because I had these?
And these are slightly different. I actually want some of those. These are slightly different, but similar pattern on the side there. I probably didn't get those because I didn't have my size, but this is one of the pairs that I would order if I can pull the trigger on saying, not feeling greedy and asking for them.
Well, so it sounds like, okay, is this considered a skate shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be good for skating.
Yes.
I mean, maybe a lot of
was
these companies.
style.
Although I wouldn't skate in it, right? It's
yeah.
because they're nice to me.
Oh, yeah.
I would maybe have one designated pair that I'd skate in to destroy, because that's what happens with skate shoes. Is like you're just going to destroy them.
Yes. You're rubbing your shoe repeatedly on sandpaper. It's the worst thing for a shoe imaginable.
Yeah.
The funny thing about skate shoes, though, is a lot of these shoes are actually of inferior quality, because the skate industry, I don't know if you guys know too many skateboarders, but they are fucking losers. Okay? Go to Thrasher's YouTube page and just watch a couple of clips, and you will see a guy with missing teeth, very low IQ, just smoking a spliff, but then he'll go bust a frontside flip down a 20 set or something. That's who makes up the skate industry. So when they were making shoes, God knows where they were being sourced from, who was designing them, what materials they were using. And Nike and Adidas, once they saw that, oh shit, this guy Tony Hawk's got a video game. Oh, this handsome kid from Laguna Beach, Ryan Sheckler's got a TV show.
Yeah.
We want a piece of this action.
Yeah.
They started making actual high quality skate shoes, and they took so much of the market share, and a lot of companies like ES and like Circa, like Lakai, a lot of those companies either went under or basically had to fire their entire team and just be like, yeah, we're just in business for the sake of like tradition at this point,
Right.
Because we can't compete with Nike and Adidas.
Yeah, that was a funny thing where all of a sudden I noticed people are going, oh, I got these skate shoes. I'm like, those are Nikes, though. Nike doesn't make skate. It was almost offensive, right?
Yes.
Because there is this idea of like in the punk community, whatever, this hardcore or like do-it-yourself mentality or sell-out, like anti-sellout mentality where, it's inherently anti-corporate, and Nike just felt antithetical to all of that. So getting a Nike skate shoe was kind of like, isn't that kind of against the ethos of skateboarding in it itself?
It's like if somebody told you Jimmy Fallon was their favorite comic. Oh, I love Hannah Gadsby. She's my favorite.
That's a different, I mean, that would signal something different to me, but equally like, oh God,
Yeah.
grow up,
Yeah, and Jimmy Fallon, I have no problem with him actually, but
I know. Don't you feel bad because you're like, like he's earned everything he has,
Yes.
and you see his auditions for SNL and what he used to do, and it's like, sure, there's every reason for you to be here, but he's become this meme of like the late night host who's just has no edge.
Yes.
Dude, the Man Show. We all remember. You guys remember the Man
Oh,
Show?
Jimmy Kimmel. You're talking about Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, is that a different guy?
It is a very similar guy, but
Jimmy
different
Fallon
guy.
and Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Kimmel, you actually bring up a point. Jimmy Kimmel is even more disappointing because he used to be so damn funny. I was just listening to an old Stern clip. It was the Celebrity Biggest Stern Fan contest where they brought in an actor, the host of Survivor, and then Jimmy Kimmel, and they had them compete over Howard Stern trivia. And Jimmy Kimmel back in the day was so funny. But now he is the biggest, like, White House ass kisser, liberal
Right, and I haven't
pushover.
watched his show in a while, but it is funny how, I mean, I guess you could sort of point to Trump for both Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel, like, to become ideological. Because I don't mind you doing, obviously you're going to be doing politics, but like, for example, I think Bill Maher does a little bit better where it's like you're in this, you just want to see original thoughts. And
Yes,
so when somebody starts like towing the line, it's like, but if I know what you're going to say every night, then it's not as funny,
Bill Maher absolutely picks on both sides.
Yeah.
He recently did a monologue on how becoming transgendered or queer is irrefutably a trend because if you look at the decade by decade numbers of transgenderism, it's like 10x the last 5 or 10 years because of TikTok and because of Pride Month and all this. And I'm not hating on the gay community or something, but you can't argue that it's a trend. Kimmel, however, or Fallon would never talk about something that controversial.
Yeah. Never.
I mean, Kimmel just had Biden on, and I mean, softballs doesn't even begin to describe it. He was lobbing wiffle balls to the geriatric old fuck.
Oh, shit, I gotta watch that. That sounds interesting. How the fuck?
It's bad.
I'm curious, and also I feel like it would almost be unwatchable. Like I want to see what it was, but I'm like, I know it would cause me mental anguish to watch.
It's bad, dude. It's bad. It's I mean, Kimmel's basically just saying things like, "Why aren't people with us?" Us meaning him, Joe Biden, and the Democratic Party the
Yeah.
establishment.
Democrats.
Why are people with us? Why don't they understand it? And I want to say that at one point Joe Biden goes on an unintelligible rant about interracial couples.
Checks out.
Do you remember that, Austin? Can you pull that clip up? Just type in Joe Biden interracial.
It's very easy to fill that, void in my imagination with something that he may or may not have said. But it's easy to picture.
Let's see. Interracial.
Well, part of it is, I remember during the primaries, Biden at one point was impressive. Like, I remember his debates with Sarah Palin and Paul Ryan, which are kind of the only moments you really have to shine as a VP. It's like the VP debate, right?
Right.
And he seemed very sharp. And
Mark,
it's just,
one thing, I got to help Austin out real quick.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, interracial couples, Kimmel.
Okay, so this is the 23-minute.
That's too long. Sorry. I'm sorry, Mark. So
Palin,
Palin.
I want to see that. I'm just saying there was a point where he was defensible. I remember I had a friend being like, Joe Biden's a gaffe machine. And I was like, he's still got, if you watch these debates, he can still be animated by that competition, and he had a certain linguistic competence under pressure, and I just feel like there's enough clips where you go, and again, it's unfair to take anything out of context, but there's a lot of out of context clips that you could make fun of Joe Biden with as just being in mental decline, and that's fine. That's a normal part of life, but why'd you make him president? Because I have a lot of friends who are like, no, we shouldn't get any of these other people on whatever, if you're voting Democrat. There was a lot of options. I'm not going to say that there were great options, but you're going like, the guy's dementia. The guy's brain is crumbling, and that's okay. It doesn't mean he's a bad person, or that's a separate conversation at least.
Well, let's listen to it. Let's see if what Mark has to say has any truth to it. Who knows what prompted?
Oh, I'm serious. You turn on the TV, look at the ads. When's the last time you saw biracial couples on TV? When's the last time you saw the way, people are selling products. They do ads to sell products, and they sell products when they appeal to people. This generation is going to change everything. We just got to make sure we don't give up.
When's the last time you saw biracial couples on TV?
Pretty recently, I feel like.
Pretty much every commercial. As an actor, we know that. We're not.
Yeah, and I'm not going to complain about that. Like, I don't think and I think as men too, you go, I don't take any of this personally. I don't view myself as a victim of some changing tide. It's just like, all right, I got to be better at acting to make up for whatever, position I'm being put in where there's slightly less opportunities for a white guy. Like, I don't give a fuck. But that's just, okay. That represents to me empty virtue signaling, which is always the corporate Democrat go-to, is like, let's change the flag for a month. It doesn't mean anything. And
I like what you're saying, Mark. I think you're giving him too much credit.
Okay.
I think words are just coming out of his mouth. I think that's what's happening there.
When you say biracial, we're making progress. It's like, yes, it's he's not being coherent, but secondly, like, it's just, if you were to extrapolate a point and give him credit, it's part of this BS empty woke signaling that has no bearing on any normal person's life.
Yeah. King Kroc, he's going to disagree with you here, because King Kroc's a little bit of a lefty.
He is.
And King,
To be honest, bro, the way you talk about Joe Biden is kind of offensive. Because the black community, we've been riding with Biden for a minute.
Right.
And he did a lot for us, man.
Yeah.
yeah, one of your black friends voted for Joe Biden. He voted for Donald Trump, rather, and you took his black card, because if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black.
Right.
Yeah, dude. He had to
What
leave
kind of
the
things did he give you, King Kroc? What do you think? What was Joe Biden giving you? What did he do for you and your community?
Gas prices went up, but that's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Chicken prices went up. That's not that big a deal. Listen,
That's a pretty big deal.
What he really did for me is he let me know that at least he isn't gonna be talking shit on Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
gonna
You
be
think he
big
gave like
clown.
you think he gave you maybe
I want
the
a
community?
president I can respect.
He would. We're kidding. This guy right here would. You would probably murder Joe Biden.
Your
You'd
base
murder
is
him.
now, sir.
Depending on how much tequila King Kroc had drank, he would murder Joe Biden if he ever encountered him in the street.
Well, even
Don't get me started.
King Kroc, we talked about on the Patreon podcast that King Kroc, the only person he wants to face in a cage match is the leader of the Chinese Communist Party. What's his name?
Xi Jinping.
Yeah, he wants to beat the shit out of that guy.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, he's not.
But also, the first thing that came to mind when you said he's a lefty is my brain goes to establishment corporate Democrats kind of, they give a bad name to like lefty or far lefty. It's like, whoa, you know, woke signaling and extreme sort of, you know, expressions of cultural values on the left are different than, for example, workers' rights or doing anything that would be like if you're fighting, you know,
I don't like workers' rights. We're gonna keep these guys down over here.
What I'm saying, they're like, you know how those two things get conflated, right? Where it's like, this means that, and it's like, yeah, you know, a real lefty, and I try to listen to everything on YouTube, you know, real quote unquote leftists don't like Joe Biden because he hasn't done anything for them, you know? So the only people who might be, there's a very narrow sliver of people who just appreciate the woke signaling so much that that is all they're sort of expecting.
That's a great point, and I think that's overshadowed too often. And really, it's used to create division between the left and the right. If we came together, bro, these globalists, they wouldn't have shit on us, bro.
Right.
But we're fighting the whole time. The population's divided in many ways.
Yes, it is.
Seems like you know a little bit about that.
Right, because like if you know, if you're dividing, they make any sort of woke signaling and identity politics inherently reduces people to race. I have a lot more to connect with people on than just my race. I think that's really cheap. True. You know what I mean? So, and both sides do it. But I, you know, what's cool is to see. I just find myself agreeing with conservatives more on the attack on identity politics. You know, so I guess that's where I'm at, guys. Politically.
Well, we're with you.
More and more identity politics because it just, you know, it takes away from the notion of the individual and it reduces people to these woke like these identity signifiers, and also encourages people to have a victim mindset.
Yeah,
that's really at the end of the day.
With you
100%. I am this identity, therefore I've experienced this. Well, what about you as a person? You know,
Absolutely. And if you have a victim mindset, I can't think of anything more detrimental to your progress.
Correct. Yeah, it's like that's the through line that I see in so many people's problems when I talk to people. It's like, oh, the main issue here is you're seeing yourself, and you can talk somebody out of that. You know, I've talked to people who are like in a bad place, and if you're not too latched onto that, I think you can talk yourself out of it and reframe things to be like, no, I've
had the victim mindset.
Same here.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's something, but if you're encouraging that, and that's like integral to your political movement,
yeah.
Mark, when's the time you had the victim mindset? I'm not seeing it right now. When would that have happened in your life?
You know, I know it's happened before, but I think a lot of it has to do with that off the top of my head, and I'd have to search honestly for more answers to this, but like if I would say I can think of some times as a kid or a teenager being broken up with by a girl, you know, and you go, oh, this is like, it's her fault. And or my friend hooked up, you know, I'm thinking of an example where this girl broke up with me. I wasn't even a good boyfriend to her and was pushing her away anyway. She breaks up with me and dates a friend of mine after like, but it wasn't like malicious. It was just like, yeah, that's what people do when like you're not a good boyfriend and you're acting like you don't care. And then, but also I get to sulk around and be depressed by it. Like it's just such a bitch move. And I think that's integral to understanding that as a guy. It's like, and if you want that girl back, like crying about it is the last thing you should do, you know, and all you could do is focus on yourself. And I talk to guys now and try to give, you know, impart that upon them, that it's like your options are limited. Taking a nihilistic or victim mindset in response to things that don't go your way is just, it's not going to help. You can do it. It's just not going to help.
You just got to get in the gym.
You know? Right. Yeah, exactly. Or even like,
which obviously you do.
Right. No, and I think that's, to me, the reason that I've always come back to that, because I have had major fluctuations in, you know, like I was roughly this size at about 18 or 19.
Damn.
But then I was like, I don't want to be big anymore. People identify me as a, you know, identity politics. I felt like I didn't want to identify as that, so I ran away from it. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what people think of me. If you think I'm stupid because I have muscles, great.
Right.
No, that's one of the reasons we brought you on, is because a lot of times we get people just identify us as big douchebags.
They do. You know what I mean? It's
and I know you hang out with Brendan Schaub, was the same problem too.
Oh,
and I'm a fan of, I'm a big fan of Fighter and the Kid. I listened to that. I started listening to that podcast in 2016.
Yeah.
So I don't.
It's an interesting little like
at all,
like microcosm. There's so much to unpack as far as the vitriol that it gets, because as a close friend now of Brendan and a good friend of Brian, and we're becoming closer, I know Brendan is the opposite of a lot of these things people accuse him of. Like number one being he's generous and he's caring. So like people will, for example, accuse him of being narcissistic or I'm like, he's like the least exploitative person that I've probably ever met or worked with or worked for. So I get to see these things up close and get kind of evidence of like, you're accusing him of this, but actually it's more like this. And I love that psychology of like projection and why people get so upset about somebody doing something. Because, for example, he's doing stand-up comedy. If you didn't like a stand-up comic, most people go, I'm not going to watch him.
Right.
I'm not going to pay attention to him. That's how
Simple.
I'm not obsessed with Hannah Gadsby.
Yeah.
She's pretty talented. You're missing out.
Yeah, but I'd never even watched her special. I've just seen clips of it to know that, like, hey, the people who I care, whose opinion I might care about, that would funnel me towards her special, say it's, sort of unwatchable. But so it's an interesting thing. The douchebag thing, there was a point where I would care about people calling me a douchebag, where I'd be like, what does that mean about, no, it doesn't really mean much about myself, because it's such a vague term too. It usually means something about the other person. That's a cliche, but I've just seen it in real time where I'm like, oh, I get this collection of 1,000 people, because the moment you pop up on TFAK, everyone's like, this guy sucks because he's been within 3 feet of Brendan Schaub, And so it's been interesting seeing, like, I know I'm innocent of like a major wrongdoing. I didn't like hurt these people's feelings in some way other than just merely existing. And so you get an understanding of that to some degree just in real life without having any notoriety. Some people are just going to look at me and not like me. That's okay. But I get to then also, with enough people, you get to be like, okay, you look like this, you look like this, you look like this. And you get to see it really does kind of play out that I'm like talking to guys who don't have a lot going on in their life and seem to have bitterness, resentment, low self-esteem, whatever. And I just know for myself, I would never act the way they do online towards strangers.
It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand. And me and Danny we go around and we mess around in public a lot. We do these pranks. We do improv. And it's almost so difficult to get somebody that's just in shape to be upset at all. It's crazy.
Right.
And
I talk about it myself, where I have these little moments where, like, in the sauna today, where I was like borderline curt with somebody, but all I was doing is going, I wasn't going out of my way to make him feel good. And maybe 9 times out of 10 I would, but today I was just like, what was the sketch? Like, that was the extent of me. And then I'm like, fuck, that was rude of me to do that. But because most of the time I can manage, if I'm not in a good mood, that's why I'm at the gym. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to make sure to go to the gym before here, because I'm like, I want to be in a good mood. I want to get the blood flowing and get a little sweat going, because that is so integral to my well-being and so integral to why I decided after, I've taken large swaths of time off of working out, but I get back into it because mentally I feel better. I like feeling strong. I like having this it's this foundational thing that I recommend to people when they say, like, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I have insomnia. I'm like, go run 10 miles and tell me you have insomnia.
Exactly. It's not only that, it's a way to get off drugs too.
Right.
You supplement the drug use. Not even supplement it, but you kind of put it, you work out when you have a craving or you're having withdrawals, and eventually.
Yeah, Eminem did that.
Eminem did that, yes, famously, right, with his pill addiction.
Yeah.
I will say about the haters, though, the Brendan Schaub thing. Right. Brendan Schaub, still, the haters be damned. He lives a 1% life, the top 0.5% life. What do you think? Brendan Schaub probably makes $100,000 a month from his comedy. Beautiful house, great cars, hot wife. Brendan Schaub's still living large. And that's part of being an entertainer, because Leo and I have dealt with our share of hate, too. A
lot of hate.
And the thing is, though, man, it's still, that's the price you pay, because this is a cooler job than humping a mop, being a janitor in an office building after hours.
And what you realize is a lot of people, sometimes I'll even have haters do this, because like a certain percentage of people will, like, if I'll engage in a certain way, they go, you know what, that was like, they'll realize it, they'll snap out of it. And that's just a small percentage. Guys will realize that they're being a dick, but then double down. So it's like a really small percentage will realize and then tell you, but it does happen. And then sometimes those guys will be like, yeah, I really wanted to get into acting, screenwriting, comedy. So you do see, especially comedy or podcasting, probably the top 2 things where guys in their head go, I could do that. Right. You just got to sit and talk. I'm funny in front of my friends. I can hold the mic and be like, I'm, so that's the starting point too. And
you see it in football too, though. Where, like, cause I'm a big football fan. You look like you're probably a football fan as well.
Yeah.
But dude, it is crazy how Patrick Mahomes, for instance, was the MVP, Super Bowl champ. The next season, he had one bad game. And I, out of curiosity, because we're in this space where there is a lot of hate, I was like, I wonder how people treat old Patrick on here. Scroll down. You're washed. You suck. They need to cut you from the Kansas City Chiefs.
I understand
You're
the hate.
way overpaid.
When it goes to his brother, though, I do appreciate
Totally
the hate going to his
But
brother.
I even appreciate it going to Patrick Mahomes, because you know why? Patrick Mahomes makes $500 million over the course of his career, and he's world famous.
Yeah.
Fucking deal with it. You and I sit here and talk into microphones and fuck around with these idiots and go up to San Francisco and go to Mexico and have a great...
dude.
It's fucking... We have to work hard for that.
Yeah.
The haters, it's part of the job
part of the
description,
job.
and there's no reason to get mad at them. It's just, it's part... Like, you can't get... Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady can't single out individual people booing him in the crowd.
I've learned to love it in many ways. If you turned it into a positive, I told King Croc, because he's kind of new to the podcast space, right? And he's doing great, and he's going to go on No Jumper and stuff, and he's getting a little bit of that online hate that you've experienced recently too, right? I mean, and you gotta just love it, you know. The more, the merrier. In fact,
right. And this, I was on Isaiah Miranda, who I do a lot of skits with. He had me on his Under the Influence podcast, and they asked me about it because his girlfriend Noelle. He was like, and he kind of threw under the bus, but I'm friends with Noelle, so it's all good. He was like, Noelle thinks that you are really bothered by it. And I use this example of...
Bothered by shit talking.
Yes, because I'll write back and like, you might see me write 4 sentences to somebody.
I like that.
The thing is,
Some
and then I'll
improv.
post it to my story. Right. No, like, as you know, do you know how quickly I can formulate 3 sentences? It's like it's like a knee-jerk reaction. The idea that because you constantly, if you respond, you constantly get accused of being angry. And I go, do you understand how non-articulate? If I was truly angry, the things that would be coming out of my mouth and the sense that I wouldn't be making. I mean, you're witnessing at most mild irritation, but it's hard for people to wrap their minds around. It's like, you know, somebody doing stand-up comedy and like your only experiences of it, like you've thought about doing it, it made your heart race. And it's like, well, this guy, you know, Chris D'Elia has been on stage 8,000 times. Do you think he's nervous about that or whatever? So when I talk shit, I use this analogy of, not an analogy, just an anecdote of me getting up in the middle of the night, I'll see a notification, fire off a shit talk while I'm peeing and then go back to sleep because it doesn't stress me out. But that's a real thing because it just doesn't
it
bother
might be
me.
interfering with your REM sleep, or maybe not. But one thing that's, I mean,
and I forget about it too because as
the
you're saying,
blue
like these
lights,
guys,
there's a lot going on there. But Mark, one thing I want to say is that because I just think about how best to deal with haters too, and you mentioned earlier the victim mindset and how bad that is. One of the reasons the victim mindset is so bad is because your mental picture is I'm a loser, there's no hope, therefore I'm not going to try hard. And then basically the foundation of all self-help and personal development books are your mental picture needs to be very positive and very well defined. The reason I don't seek out, read, and respond to negative comments is because even if you know they're wrong, like if somebody tells me you aren't funny, you have no talent, delete your YouTube channel, nobody wants you here. I know that's not true because I've seen enough positive feedback, financial feedback, likes on the like bar, people subscribing, people commenting. I know it's not true, but it's still, it whittles into my head, or it weasels into my head and becomes part of my mental image if I read it.
That's a really good way of, I've never heard anybody articulate the reasoning behind not going into that as you did.
I mean, it's going to be, and it's going to be short. If you read one negative comment, it happens to me occasionally because in YouTube, at the very bottom of the YouTube studio, it shows some comments. And sometimes I scroll down too far and I accidentally read a negative comment. I stop thinking about it an hour later. It's gone. But for that hour, you've let a negative thought seep in about maybe I'm not funny, maybe I'm not talented. And that is tainting the mental picture that is the opposite of the victim mindset mental picture. Down here is the victim mindset. I am weak. I am incapable. I can't help myself in life. Up here is the gold standard of I'm talented. I'm funny. I'm going to be rich. Nothing can stop me. And you don't want those comments to drag you down toward the victim mindset.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's a perfect articulation of that. And I agree. And also, I've always said with responding to the haters, it's like, I knew that this was a temporary thing. It's kind of like showing up and being like, hey, I'm really good at Kung Fu. Like anybody can come at me. You know,
Dino, come at him.
I'm good at talking shit online. Anybody can come at me. if there's one person who feels like they've beat me at an online exchange, go ahead and post the exchange, because I post them all the time. So, but as I do that, right, over the course of the last, 6 months, 9 months, it becomes less and less interesting, because partially because it gets so repetitive.
Yeah.
These people aren't original. They're not creative. They really think they're burning you. But like, I'll ask my own fans and followers to roast an outfit, and like the level of creativity is so much above and beyond, because they're not upset. How can it be funny when you're angry? You know, well, I guess Bill Burr, but like when you really, when you have malice towards an individual and you're really like, you're trying to roast them, it comes off a certain way. It just comes off as like vicious or petty or stupid or flustered. And I agree with you that ultimately, like, I can handle it much better than the average person just through repetition and just through certain innate qualities that I think because I go, not everybody should do this. If you're not equipped for it and you don't have the instinct to do it, don't. But I'm very much like, I feel like I'm finishing the wrapping on this package and I'm ready to send it off into space.
There we go.
Do you have a fat cock, Mark? Is that why nobody can fuck with you? That's what it is.
We were going to get to your cock size at some point on this podcast, so.
Yeah. I mean, that I wonder if that is something like that, because here's the thing. I was going to say, when people try to attack my insecurities, you don't know what they are. You know what I mean? So people will be like, you have fake lips. And I'm like, well, but I don't, like, you know, I used to get made fun of for having big lips when I was a kid. And now you're trying to make it seem like I sought that out. So the things that people
no lip injections. None?
Actually, what are
you sure about that?
Right, they made him sit in the back of the bus.
And you know what's funny is I would, like, if I, you know, sometimes I look at my face and go, man, you're gonna have to get Botox soon. I'll tell everybody. I'll let you know. But right now, I'm just not insecure enough about it to do that. But I don't feel like it's something shameful. It's so commonplace, you know. Or even like I talk about doing steroids. It's like, that's not shameful to me anymore. There was a point where I felt like I couldn't tell anybody, but it's like, I made the decision and I can own up to it. And I think the benefit of being open about it and talking to people and making myself known as somebody who has a lot of experience doing that, I've been able to help a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, and also be able to dissuade some people who are too young or too uninformed to be doing it. So I think openness in a lot of situations.
Mark, I would have to take a look at your testicles to know that you've been doing it correctly. Though, if they are shrunken, I can't say that I'm going to take your advice on the steroids.
Although I do take HCG periodically, so that plumps them up.
Gotcha.
You know,
it makes your nuts bigger.
HCG, it sets off a sort of, you know, a chemical cascade that, look, if you want the real answer on this, go to Derek for more plates, more dates, but it's something about releasing luteinizing hormone, and that stimulates your testicles to, you know, produce sperm and testosterone again after they've been atrophied. But
okay, so the atrophy though is something that might interest my buddy Danny here. He has
his balls are too big.
They're too big. Maybe you should show Mark.
It's always the skinny guys.
It's always the skinny
guys. Brian Callen apparently has gigantic testicles.
Really?
I've heard he's got a big cock. I've heard him and Chab have big cocks.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because I have a very unimpressive penis, so I always tend to get mad at big penis guys.
The alphas having the big penises.
And so I become a Reddit troll or an Instagram bottom feeder hater when it comes to big cock guys.
Aesthetically, Danny, would you say that your penis would look better if that testicle, the right testicle, shrunk?
Way better.
So maybe roids could be the answer.
Right? Yeah, that could be a thing just proportionally, because also, like, you know, here's one thing. I mean, I can send a good dick pic, but guys who do have really skinny thighs is like, that's gonna look better.
Look great,
right?
We have look at these things, dude. I gotta
what I'm
fucking,
competing with.
Yeah.
But so women, you know, it'll take you actually putting it in your mouth and be like,
then they'll know. They'll know. Are you single, Mark? Or
I'm married to a hot German lady named Luana.
Where's your ring?
Congratulations.
Oh, damn, did I? Oh, fuck, I was at the strip club.
You trying to fuck one? Okay, right over. Stopped at the 76 station, splash some gasoline on his neck. That's the old trick.
The gasoline.
That's get rid of the hooker smell.
Yeah. Gasoline's a good one.
That's a good
one.
one.
What's getting through that?
That's the cliche move. You come home from the strip club.
I've never heard that, but that's so smart.
That's really good, actually. Marks, you have to be vain a little bit to maintain a physique like yours.
Absolutely. But I always differentiate that between people accuse me of being narcissistic, and they don't know what narcissistic. I go, I'm vain, and narcissists can be vain, but that's like the 10th quality. You know what I mean? Like, I don't exploit other people, and I have empathy. Would be so. Thank you. That's a good point. I don't mind being. Of course, I'm vain. Right? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
Like,
and what's wrong with that? You know,
inherently nothing, unless it's detracting from something else. But I feel like there's an appropriate amount of self-care you can give yourself.
Yes.
You know, I would rather look nice than not nice. And also, like, just as far as attraction to women, or like women being attracted to you like to have sex, you should look good, even if it's with your partner, because a lot of guys let that go and then wonder why they're not getting laid.
Or why she cheats.
Right. Yeah.
With
There's all these
a black
things
guy.
to think about.
You know?
Exactly.
But
You're at a huge disadvantage. There are black men out in the world.
They're out there.
You have to compensate for
You got
that.
to stage act.
Yeah.
Talking to that mic, King. What?
I'm trying to get jacked, bro, and that's
Give him
why
some advice.
I wanted to ask you about, before we moved on from the whole steroids topic, right?
Right. We'll never move on completely.
We'll
How
never
do you
exactly.
feel about SARMs? What do you think about it?
I just basically categorize them the same as I would steroids because they agonize the androgen receptor. And so with that, there's various intensity levels or potency, each different compound. I've taken a few of them. I've taken Ostrine, which is known as a lighter compound. I've taken a ligand draw or LGD. I've taken S23, which is supposedly comparable to Tren. These are
Dude,
powerful.
I was scared of that S23. I heard the vision, eye effects, side effects.
Yeah, and so people come to me all the time because it's this new fascinating thing, and I think the marketing on them, because it's this gray area, and people sell them as research chemicals, and it's like, give this to your rat. But it's steroids, right? It's essentially the same to me as taking an oral steroid.
Right.
Guys will come to me in their early 20s and say, I want to do an 8-week cycle of Rad 140, and I make them justify it to me. I say, why aren't you taking a low dose of testosterone?
Are you a steroid salesman?
No.
Why are these people coming to you?
Because I give out free advice on it.
Dude,
But I
any
do not-
intellectual, any guy that can kind of piece together a sentence that looks like him is going to have to help people in the community.
that's
I mean, let's be honest.
That's a good point. And I also, because I'm talking about it on my podcast, I make myself open about it. And I just, again, that's a decision that I've made to be open about it. And I couldn't be happier because it just feels, it's like you're living in the closet or something. And it's like, how stressful would that be? To be like, what?
Let's ask Dino about it.
Dude, Dino needs help too, but I have to ask you about a guy that follows me, and I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a hero of mine, but Mike O'Hearn.
Yeah.
Why does he say that he is all natural and he will never kind of? Is that why people have told me in the community that he's considered a kind of, not a joke, but a guy that, like, you can't really listen to the guy because he's not natural and he won't admit it.
Well, okay. There's a lot to unpack there because I've also, now I have to answer as his friend because I've worked out with him a number of times and he's been nothing but sweet to me. And I will speak in superlative terms about, for example, his training knowledge. Right. He is probably the best bodybuilding coach that I've met in person. So not only does he walk the walk at, the question of whether or not he has taken anabolics aside, to be able to look like that at literally any age.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people don't have a appreciation for what goes into that and the mastery that goes into that.
He's a legend. Yeah.
Right.
A complete unbelievable guy.
Correct. And so if somebody's saying, I can't take what he says seriously, I would urge them to go do a workout with him.
Right.
Because I'm an advanced lifter. He will give me these smallest tweaks and he's able to communicate it in such a way that I'm like, every single workout I've done with him, I'm like, I feel like I've leveled up. It's like, I now know how to train shoulders way better. And I realized doing my podcast, Haters Will Say, the question of whether or not people take anabolics is very uninteresting to me because ultimately I've seen how that is not such a small percentage of my gains, but it's like, I was 230 naturally,
right?
And I'm like 250 now,
and so was
I haven't done
he was
crazy,
a big guy too,
right? Yeah, so it's
genetics
like you look at guys,
play a role,
right? You're looking at somebody like that, and the difference between, if you're enhanced or you're not, if you're a genetic outlier. I'm not saying I'm a genetic outlier, but I'm I know I was always accused of doing steroids when I was 16 to 18 because. I also worked. I have never had an issue working really hard in the gym, and some people do, right? And so some people are. You're kind of starting from a point where you have a lot more body fat, you have less muscle. So I look like a guy who's on steroids, right?
And I just want to weigh in on this. I mean, when people see my legs, I get accused of being on steroids.
Well, here's the thing. I know guys. I know
like
guys
him on steroids, right?
I know you're on steroids. No, I've known guys who are as skinny as you who take steroids, and it's like most people's perception of what that means is very skewed because you could do, you could be taking Anavar for 20 weeks. It'll gain you some muscle and strength, but you won't look like you're on steroids. So I'm always cautious of looking at guys like Michael Hearn or Simeon Panda going like, they already would have looked like they're on steroids.
Yeah.
Right. And the broader question of how open can you be about what you've done?
Right.
That's we're still coming out of an era where if you were doing steroids in the 80s and 90s, you could get banned from, like, there's a Ronnie Coleman on the Jay Leno show said he's all natural in like 1998 or the early 90s.
Wow.
It's like,
That's crazy.
okay, that's where we're coming from. So there really wasn't an option. Only today is there an option for people to actually say, yes, I do this. And that's been like the forefront of that. I think of like Greg Doucette. I think of,
YouTuber.
Say it again.
Great YouTuber. Great
Yeah. And he's like, I found him from him talking about Eric Konevsky's another guy who do you guys know Eric Konevsky?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's funny.
And
He's
he's funny.
He's a fan of the
okay, yeah.
channel.
And I've
bodybuilders
become a big
follow,
fan of him too, actually. But one thing is undeniable. He started from a place of maybe being much skinnier than you. And I think your
flexing.
body's so like, you have a
flexing?
great body. Like when I look at you, I go, I don't know why you'd want to change your body because I'm sure women are attracted to you. Like that's always the guys.
Oh, they fucking are.
They
I
are,
believe
big
it. No,
time.
I believe it.
Better
Gets
keep
a lot
your
of pussy,
German
Mark.
wife
You don't
away
want
from me,
this
Mark.
guy gets pussy, dude. We
Tell
don't
Brennan
want-
Job to
that's-
keep that Latina fire plug out of here.
That's what I'm saying though, is like guys have a notion of like, does every girl want a guy who looks like, no, some of them do, but other like, you do what's right for your body. So
They want a guy who's got skinny ass legs, lopsided nutsack, and a mediocre cock.
I mean, look, for many years, the biggest insecurity of mine was that I had large legs, because people would be like, I'd like take off my shorts and got like, people would be like, oh my God, your quads are so huge. And I'm like, it would make me, now I'm okay with it because I feel like I have a realistic assessment of myself, but for many years I was insecure about specific, and I would have begged for legs like yours, so grass is always greener, I guess. But how should I wrap this rant up? We're only coming now into a place where people have the luxury of being honest.
Let's also talk about this thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but isn't it good that we don't have the option to change our appearance when we're kids? You mentioned that you wish you had skinnier calves. I remember when
quads. My calves are skinny.
Yeah, they are.
Still skinny.
That's Freudian slip. I saw those little twigs walking here.
Like, what are those things? Are you walking on toothpicks?
Desecrating that great pair of S skate shoes. But I used to play paintball. Paintball. Nobody knows it or plays it anymore, but it had a run in the early 2000s. It's basically like airsoft, but with paint. And I wanted to be shorter so that I could fit behind bunkers more easily. And I would cry at night and tell my dad, Dad, I don't like my growth spurt. I want to go back to being 5'1".
That's hilarious.
Which is what you probably see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Isn't it scary that kids these days are cutting their fucking cock off?
Yes, I didn't
based
see
on God knows what.
Right. And even that, so I know we're circling it back around to that, but I was going to bring up earlier the woman who wrote that book about specifically girls thinking that they're transgender around the middle school age, being a sort of cultural or social contagion would be the right word, right? That's an interesting thing. And I do think it's wherever you're around, because I remember feeling, I moved around a lot as a kid and saw like that was a luxury actually to realize, oh, kids in this city give a shit about this and will bully you for this.
Right.
And then you move to a different city and that's not cool and you're going to get bullied for a different reason.
I
It's all
wanted a
arbitrary.
circumcised cock. I had an uncircumcised. I have an uncircumcised
Yeah.
penis, and in high school,
Disgusting.
no, it isn't. And in high school, I wanted a circumcised penis, and now I'm so happy.
You should have
that I
got
have
an X-Acto
Yeah.
knife and gone to town, pussy.
I
could
might
have achieved it.
I thought of attempting it at some point. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's another really interesting question actually that's so like male specific is like, I'm circumcised. I didn't ask to have that happen to me.
Right, it's bullshit.
But you just be like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with here. And it's another thing that if a girl's not used either way, right? Because my wife's European, so she's used to the uncircumcised cocks and says she likes this better. Who knows? I mean, you wouldn't tell a guy like, yeah, I'd much rather you be, you know, like, well, I can't change
You better
that.
be careful with that conversation. When my girlfriend starts spouting out about fucking past uncircumcised cocks, that's going to
that's it, huh?
drop of sweat forms on my eyebrow.
But I guess, you know, the main benefit, according to her, is like you don't need lube when you're jerking it off.
true,
because
yeah.
that foreskin.
No lube.
Yeah, it's too bad it smells like cheese whiz.
No,
Right.
Right.
Summer.
Well, I always hear that and I go
That's
like, wait,
bullshit.
is this a matter of like guys aren't, you know, able to clean their own cocks or something? Like you have a little
He's
foreskin,
not.
you're like, oh my god, I can't shower anymore.
He's
I've
not.
never had dick cheese.
He's too late.
It's an urban myth, in my opinion. I don't think it's.
That's
real.
what I would assume because I'm like, okay, but like, yeah, maybe if you're camping for 2 weeks or
Exactly,
something. But if
sure.
you have access to running water,
It's actually nice because whenever we go to Subway when we're on the road, we don't even pay for cheddar cheese on our Subway sandwiches.
we got it. Yeah.
Oh.
They're like, no, it's free. We're
King,
good.
King Croc, I interrupted you. What were you saying over there?
Honestly, I want to keep talking about steroids.
Let's get him. Let's get him.
And,
Give him some advice on something he could do. Beginner steroid package.
Oh, here's the thing. Really, I'm more into the philosophical.
No.
Right? I look at it in a different way. I don't
Yeah.
know. It seems like you look at it really from an individualistic, person-to-person type.
I can look at it from a few different ways, but I am a steroid nerd more than most people because you're going to get a range of people. Some guys just go, tell me what to do. I don't want to think about it at all.
Right.
I'm not the biggest steroid nerd, but from the age of 18, like 2 years before I even did my first cycle, and many years I didn't, by the way. I took a few cycles in college, stopped completely, picked up TRT at around 34, and have been kind of, you know, safely experimenting.
How old are you now?
Years.
Damn.
I'm 38. Right.
You
So
look 27.
oh, stop it. Somebody told me that, I mean, like this is another thing, you know, haters, every hater, male haters, like, you look 60. I'm like, I mean,
Same thing.
You know, I meant look,
They keep telling. They told me
Right.
I look like 40 something right now. I'm sure. they'll
yeah.
go
And I'm
up.
like, okay, cool. You know, once women start saying like, you're too old to date, yeah, that's the great thing. When women are attracted to you, it's like, that's all I care about, you know,
Right.
like, or they're going to give
Same.
me the truth. Like, you know, hey, does your pussy get wet when I'm doing this to you? That's all I care about. Not that I'm that shallow, but it's like, it's just a much more realistic assessment of like,
what I look
how do
like.
what do my looks do to somebody that actually matters? If you're a guy telling me,
Absolutely.
but my looks, you gay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's kind of sucks.
That's some Brian Callen right there.
Yeah. It's Aaliyah
Yeah,
too.
he-
Question.
that's a Brian Callen joke actually, and it's relevant to you, King Croc, because he's like, if you're a black guy and you got a pet cat, you're gay.
Hurtful.
No, but I really wanted to know, do you see it as a freedom fight? Sort of a fight for our chemical enhancement rights. And
Yeah.
really
They're bonding over it. I
think
guess there's a
about-
thing to
No,
this.
because I know this
that's a
guy
good point,
knows.
yeah.
I know you know a lot about
Yeah.
this, and that's why I'm kind of like antsy to really talk
Yeah.
about it, because the influence big pharma, corporations,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mainstream media.
We can drink,
You
but we
brought-
can't inject testosterone into our bodies. We need a doctor's prescription
I'm
for that.
saying-
It's insane. When was the last time somebody died of acute steroid poisoning? It doesn't happen.
It doesn't,
You could
yeah.
make the argument that over the course of, and the doses that a bodybuilder would take over the course of decades, in addition to anytime you hear about a bodybuilder dying, he's at 4% body fat. He's eating however many 1,000 calories a day with a lot of meat, all these different things where you're messing with insulin, growth hormones. You're going to have, left ventricular hypertrophy, all these other things that, like, you're getting all these comorbidities. It's almost, I would dare say it's impossible to poison yourself with steroids. It is every day. I'm sure people die of alcohol poisoning, for example. And it's
Yes.
the same with wheat, these things where you go, why this, not that?
Mark, I took a bottle of Tren in high school. You think I've done
Same.
permanent damage to myself?
No, not at all.
I did Tren in college as well.
I put on like 30 pounds in a fucking 2 weeks. You sure I didn't do any permanent damage?
Did you really though?
I put on so much.
Okay.
I got way stronger really quickly.
Okay.
too.
That the
way
strength,
stronger.
it was insane. I would do 250 push-ups before bed, just like sets of 25.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one because Tren it actually isn't the best at putting on muscle. It is potent, but there's other things like if you were just to look to acutely increase your strength in a short amount of time, you would take something like Anadrol. But Tren's unique capacities are to allow you to gain muscle while losing fat. So that's why a lot of people take it pre-contest. It's really good at saving the muscle even in a caloric deficit. The idea there is nutrient partitioning. It takes, you know, it's like, all right, we're going to suck the protein over in the muscle. We're going to use the carbs for this. We're going to burn the fat for energy. So it enhances nutrient partitioning.
We better call up Enrique, the security guard, because King Croc's going to follow you to your car. He's going to try to blow you.
But I, you know, and Tren is a funny like meme that a lot of guys do. And for some reason, that's like the thing that guys want to do is their first thing. I've taken Tren a few times. The last time I did it, I had a bottle of Tren Ace, 100 milligrams per milliliter. And I was getting ready for a music video, a Hanson music video shoot. The irony, huh? Because I was like, it was like an 80s weightlifting motif. So I'm like, I just have all this shit on hand that I actually.
Modern Hanson?
This was this year. Yeah.
Wow. I just saw him on Adam Carolla.
Yeah,
so they're
Adam Carolla.
2 Hanson music videos.
Hell yeah,
and they're the best dudes.
They seem super cool.
Yeah, they're really talented and just down to earth because they had that childlike success, but then with music, it's like, oh, you got to keep going. You know, you can't have this one hit. Maybe they did get a lot of money from Mbop, but like they've had to reinvent themselves and you know be these touring musicians. But they are genuinely talented, genuinely good people. And that's why I did Tren to prepare for their music video shoot.
To reward their musicianship.
Yeah, hey, look, here's my contribution. But what I noticed is people will talk about the cardiovascular effects of taking Tren. And I noticed that this last time. I was also taking a bunch of Winstrol, a bunch of Tren, a bunch of Test, a bunch of Masteron. Like I literally had this stack of shit. I'm like, I don't want, you know, like when you have like a pizza, you're like, I don't want to eat this the rest of the week. I better finish it all now. That was literally but like I was taking so much shit for 10 days. And nothing happened except cardiovascular effects from Tren. You kind of go, it doesn't feel as good to work out.
Gotcha. So I took it while I was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really hard.
Yeah.
And my cardio was gone.
Yes.
And my amateur, like ooga booga primitive knowledge of what was going on was that, oh, I just put on a ton of muscle really fast. Maybe that muscle's not conditioned yet.
Yeah.
I didn't, but
that is a general phenomenon. Like if you were to put on 20 pounds and in a short period of time but you'd notice that after a few months. You wouldn't notice right away your cardio goes down because of the compound.
So it was probably the cardiovascular effects that you're describing in scientific means.
Yeah, and just the increase in blood pressure. I remember being at the gym and I'm like, I don't want to finish. I rarely have that feeling of like, I don't want to do this last set because my head hurts or something. But I was like, this is it's a performance enhancer, but also a performance diminisher. Like it gives you a look that you want, but it doesn't feel good.
As much as anybody that Tren is like one of the most harshest compounds.
It's because really any injectable like orals that you take, like D-bol, turinabol, anadrol, Anavar, halotestin, these are all going to be hepatotoxic. So it's going to accumulate some liver damage. However, your liver is super resilient. So it actually goes back to, if you just took 8 weeks and then take that time off, your liver's probably going to be fine. Unlike somebody who's an alcoholic, it's like the average alcoholic versus the average steroid user. My ignorant sort of guess would that be the alcohol user who doesn't let their liver recover over the course of years is actually going to be in a much worse state.
Don't tell them what's in that bottle, Kate.
Steroids and alcohol don't mix.
Correct.
Obviously.
But I would argue like alcohol is worse long term for you, and the way that people tend to abuse it when they're really into it, because this notion of steroid addiction, but some guys will take Tren for 7 years. Tren is something that over the course of excessive abuse, like if you're doing it at high levels for 7 years, which I've heard stories about, then it becomes toxic to your kidneys and liver to a degree that it can cause disease like that. And it's more toxic than the average injectable. I would argue doing something like Test and HGH at a low level, like a TRT dose of Test, 2 units of HGH, something like Joe Rogan claims to do, that like you could do that for the rest of your life, and the effects, the negative health effects that you're going to accumulate are probably slim to or negligible.
So
to
you
nothing.
mentioned HGH, right?
Yeah.
Low dose HGH, two IUs.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've taken insulin before? And how did you feel about that? To me,
I
that
have
was
not,
always
because
scary,
up until very recently, yes, it is scary. I've changed my mind on it recently. However, I want to really do my research. There's some good books out there, guys that I follow, such as Vigorous Steve, who's a Dutch bodybuilder. Who's probably. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because it's a relatively small.
This.
It's not like as big as Greg Doucette's got 1 million, but Vigorous Steve is like, to me, he's an authority. He knows exactly not only how to use it for himself, but he's coached thousands of people. He's written the book on insulin, and it's something that he's reframed my perspective on it as the 3 bioidentical safest compounds you could use would be safe usage of test, HGH, and insulin. What I'm realizing as I start to use, even just experimenting with carbs, like while you're lean, you see like if you use, for example, HGH and proper carbohydrate usage, you see like it can be the difference between looking very full and not. And that's, I assume, what would the feeling of insulin, because it drives, you can just drive a much higher, number of grams of carbohydrates into your muscle cell, right, without getting lost in the bloodstream or giving you this spike in blood sugar that's not healthy for you. And again, and it also seems like a lot of disease is rooted in insulin insensitivity, right? So even,
and this is what I meant when I said big pharma.
Oh God!
Right.
Think about what would happen if the masses knew that steroids could possibly prevent cancers.
Yeah, or even, for example, because people always ask me about the carnivore diet. I haven't tried the carnivore diet, but I love meat, and I did keto for a while, and I was like, I'm 9% body fat on eating a New York strip steak with 5 eggs, 5 pieces of bacon, and avocado. Like, this should be a disgusting fatty diet. But the thing is, without that insulin spike, because you're not eating any carbs, you're utilizing that for muscle rebuilding and energy. And so the real trouble gets into place when you're using fast digesting carbs, sugar, and fats, ice cream, candy, right? Yeah. Those are the things that screw you over, and that's part of the standard American
take your
diet.
Fucking nerd's rope.
Yeah.
King Croc.
And I love candy, believe me. But,
so, King, we're going to wrap up at just about 7. I'm going to let you ask one more question of Mark here.
Yeah.
And I want it to be something deep. I don't want it to be a scientific question about the insulin breakdown when you're on your second cycle of
What's
D-ball.
funny is we deal with this on Fight on the Kid, like, Brian will ask me what I've had to recommit to being like, if he asks me a serious question, I have to give him a silly answer, because he'll be like, Mark, like, if I wanted to gain 10 pounds of muscle, and then I'll try to answer him seriously, and everyone in the room falls asleep.
Yeah.
And the audience is like, shut the fuck up, Mark. I'm just trying to, so I'm like, I realize, yes, there is a right and wrong way to answer these questions, or like a scientific or at least scientific way, but, I'm sorry if this is boring you, is what I'm saying.
Dude, I live and sleep for this type of shit, so
that's
fuck 'em.
cool.
I don't really give a
That's
shit.
cool that you know Vigorous Steve, because he's like, I would see
him and Leo.
Yeah.
Vigorous Steve sounds like a rapist. I'm gonna throw
Vigorous Steve, huh?
Vigorous Steve is not a rapist. He's an awesome guy.
I don't want him around my sister at the very least.
Vigorous.
Yeah, he would fuck the shit out of her. But yeah, these guys are like, it's just it, and now it's not just that they're talking about steroids, because Leo, like, you want a deep dive on nicotine and the nootropic effects of what nicotine can do as a cognitive performance enhancer, go to Leo Longevity. He's put me on to more obscure biohacking things, and he knows a lot about steroids, but also, like, these channels are just like general interest. It's like, you want to know about how the human body works and how to hack it, or even that term is overused, but
you got to be high IQ, dude, like us.
Well, that is true. To some degree, I go like, well, look, I know if I was stupid, I probably wouldn't be watching Leo and Longevity, because this would be a lot more boring. I hate to like give myself a big up, but sometimes you go like, because people are online going, right, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, I mean, I'm not the smartest guy, but I know I'm not the stupidest guy, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
As long as you're stupider than me.
You get some skinny calves, but
yeah, you're right. It's like, look, you can disparage my calves, but you can't say that I have an 83 IQ.
Okay, so final question, right?
Yeah, King.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that deep, honestly. But
we want it deep.
I'll get Austin. Yeah.
We got to wait for something or no?
No, it's just the backup cam, but it's the end of the show, so we're probably good.
I was thinking, man, what kind of stack would you design for an intermediate?
See, that's a technical question, asshole. I forbade that. I wanted it to be like, so what do you think about the Chinese blocking shipments of roids off the coast of Mumbai? I thought you'd give me
also,
some
he kind
conspiracy
of answered it earlier.
But I would
HGH,
say this, if you wanted to,
testosterone?
right, I would say test HGH, learn about insulin and do that, but also add Primo, like an equivalent dose or more. So if you're taking 300 tests, take 300 Primo and add on there, because it's probably the safest, cleanest anabolic compound to add on to test, and it adds an anti-estrogenic effect onto test.
We need that in today's society.
Yeah, no more
Right. Well, when people go like, I'm going to start taking tests, and then I'm also going to take this anti-estrogen. but it's actually, these aren't the healthiest thing to take, right? You want a little bit of estrogen.
Yeah.
So taking an anabolic compound that kind of competes, you know, or prevents estrogen conversion, that is, and I've taken that kind of stack before, and the aesthetic benefit is great. And it's just really safe and not like, you can do so much with these compounds that aren't trend, that aren't anadrol, but guys want to do, like, I want to jump to the most extreme thing, you know?
Absolutely.
But I'm also,
so, buddy,
but
yeah,
he's,
go ahead, Leo.
you got to also remember though, he's probably demolishing his body in the gym.
Yeah.
At least 5 days
Right,
a week.
because that's always, time anybody asks that, I go, let's take a step back. Are you an advanced lifter?
Right.
And a lot of times
That's where
even
it
I can ask somebody about what their split is, but what I've learned, because even I, you know, I'd consider myself an advanced lifter. A lot of things I didn't know I could improve upon until I'm talking to Mike O'Hearn. He's giving me small tweaks. So, and I know I can do that for a lot of people, just as far as even intensity, going to failure. A lot of guys don't even know what it's like to like do a set of bench press to failure. I've found. I didn't assume that.
I read in Joe Manganiello's book. He has, you know, he wrote a book on lifting, and he said try to do 30 pull-ups. He says if you get towards the end of 30 pull-ups
in a row. Oh yeah.
That's that level of intensity.
How many people? I assume Mark can, but how many other people in this room can do 30 pull-ups?
No, we're talking about like if like if you have to stop, continue.
Because I was saying there might be
pull-ups.
like when I was wrestling, I could do 30 in a row, and that's like to do in a row. That's an insane amount of.
It's an insane. It's a
lot.
lot.
I agree that like doing body weight movements to failure should teach you about intensity because like there's only so much you can hack as far as the form to do you can do a really shitty push up, but like nothing's gonna fall on you. You know, like you can safely do a push up to failure.
Exactly.
And understand what that
way to
feeling
start.
feels like. You know.
Well,
so I'm gonna put you in the hot seat here.
Yeah.
Well, you asked your question, Croc.
I did.
What's the hot seat? This might be a good one.
It's a good question,
All
Danny.
right, hit him.
The death of the West. Is it real? Is it?
I think we're at a fork in the road for sure. Where but what I love saying, and I was showing on TFATK today, I introduced Brian Callen to Andrew Tate. Right. There is a resurgence of guys who are like, fuck that.
Right.
No. Masculinity, traditional gender roles. And I never was this guy before until you realize it's like, oh, I know what I'm being shamed for constantly, and women being like calling me toxically masculine for, having a strong masculine frame or whatever. I'm sure, your audience is familiar with. I think that we're in a fight now just for certain basic values where you go, this is actually something the Liver King brought up. They're like, why are you preach this ancestral shit, but then you fly in a private jet? And he's like, yeah, I'm taking the things that make my life easier, or better or some way. So it's like, take what we want from, look at the past and go, what helps us out today? And if it doesn't, let it go and adapt things that, if technology enhances your well-being, you can use that. But if it's undermining your well-being, let it go. And I do think that, I think we're in a fight, but I see things like, there's a lot of things today in contemporary politics. If you've been red pilled or whatever, and you hear people talk about like make the other argument, it's almost like you kind of don't even want to engage. But there is a way to engage in a diplomatic way and change people's mind, because that's how my mind has been changed.
Right.
Or I've come to see that, oh no, this is right, or but there is a lot of conditioning and brainwashing going along to specifically for men. And that's why I like YouTube, because you're just not going to get certain points of view in mainstream media because it's become taboo. However, I think there's, starting with YouTube and some of these people in the manosphere, and women too, because women are also like, no, we would like you to be men. And we would like you to have these certain values. And that's okay, and it is taboo, but it's becoming less so.
There's the manosphere, is the women's one called the Uvulaverse?
And I wouldn't even know. It's like, there's no equivalent, right? Because femininity and womanhood isn't being marginalized and shamed, right? So it's like you wouldn't have the manosphere if that was just a mainstream thing.
Yeah.
But like femininity is much more mainstream these days.
Oh, yeah. AOC, the greatest modern politician, true or false?
What's funny is I have a lot of empathy for anybody in the public eye. But I remember my friend sent back when, did she go on the first time she went on the Daily Show, was it Trevor Noah? I assume.
I think so.
But I remember she made some flub going like, there are like 200 million people in this country who are poor. And I was like, but you can't be saying stuff like that because it's not true.
Right.
And my buddy was trying to defend. He's like, oh, well, that happens. I'm like, but you are the hot girl of the Democratic Party. You can't be making these basic errors of statement because, and then saying Donald Trump can't speak.
Yeah.
You know, or something where it's like, dude, be better. And
What's
so
our population? 300 million in the United States?
Right. It was something like that where it's like, you know, you're like, it was something utterly ridiculous if you were listening to her.
Yeah.
If you're just transfixed on her heavies, then you're not going to catch it. But
they're not that heavy.
Big booty Latina.
I've seen heavier.
No, look, AOC, my favorite big booty Latina.
Yeah.
I don't know if we reviewed that clip.
No, and I saw the guy explain why he did it on the Tim Pool show. I'm like, oh my God. And he's so articulate about it. He's like, no, specifically, he's like, I found that if you say these things from your point of view, just matter of factly, nobody gives you any attention. But the moment you call AOC a big booty Latina, she melts down and all of a sudden I have a platform. So I'm like, oh, of course he did that.
Funny.
Can we show that clip real quick in case anybody hasn't seen it?
Pretty badass.
But master trollery, right? It's like,
it was
that's
great.
how you do it.
It was
For a
just
purpose,
like,
because you're like, hey, now I have your attention and I'm going to say something, right?
AOC big booty Latina. Let's see if we could get the clip without any
Harassed by men
commentary.
on capital
It's
steps.
the guy's fucking classic, dude.
They always bury the original.
Yeah,
clip
it's
and
all just
hide it with
commentary.
commentary. Yeah.
Clout chaser harasses
I can probably
God
find it
damn,
on
bro.
Google.
on just Twitter, like a Twitter video. If you
But also
Google it.
apparently he didn't say, like, she quoted him as saying something different than he actually said. He's like, I have it on video and she misquoted me. I didn't say this. I said, you know.
Here we go.
AOC, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look
is
at that
hot.
booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
She's mad.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress.
And she does look
Ooh,
sexy.
I love
That's one thing when
AOC.
people,
Hot,
when
hot,
guys
hot,
try
like
to
a
on the right,
tamale.
they'll try to deny that she's hot. She's like, she's okay. It's like, oh, come on, dude. For a politician,
For a politician, she's
Like,
great.
hot as it gets.
yeah.
For a politician.
That you know, the hottest, as hot as it gets, is actually that male swimmer
Oh, wow.
over there.
That's
on the-
another funny one. And you know what's funny is, like, if you're interested in trans rights, you should be on the forefront of going, hey, cut it out. We're losing ground here. You've managed to find the only galvanizing, event, a guy with a dick swimming against women or somebody with a dick fighting against women in the octagon or something like that. Everybody's on board. 99% of people are on board until you're like, and yeah, we should let dudes beat up girls. And they're like, wait a second. This might be going out on a limb, but
Yeah. Well, we've learned a lot here. We've talked about, we started the podcast with Dino's case of monkeypox.
Right.
We talked about how my filmer was on vacation, paid vacation, and we're actually going to make him pay back every dime he got on that vacation. We decided he's not working hard enough.
Yeah.
We learned about steroids, skate shoes, manliness, and big booty Latinas. It's been an educational program.
Great pod. Thank you, Mark.
thank you for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me. All my handles are at Hella Mark Harley, HELLA, MARKHARLEY, and I do a podcast called Haters Will Say that's fitness adjacent. We talk about fitness, and I look at gym fails and just try to have fun with it. It's a launching point. We talk about psychedelics. We talk about psychology. We talk about how fitness relates to current events and stuff like that. It's a one-man podcast, and I just started having some guests on. So. Cool. It's on the Thick Boy YouTube channel, and you can find me, on The Fighter and the Kid. You'll see me in the background of The King of the Sting, and
awesome.
Looking to do some more TikToks in the future because China's taking over, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And also, you get recognized in saunas with those.
Right, exactly.
It's nice.
I'm TikTok famous, baby.
Thank you for coming on, my man.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Jeez.